Ice apocalypse. This is how you can stock up on the greatest beauties. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226 Fat Sheep. In fact, when they played cards this time, on the surface, the third child secretly chose to join forces with the old wolf and said that they would cooperate during the card game, and then they would win together and smoke a little cigarette from the boss Liu Filong. But secretly, Lao San was working with Liu Filong, and even cheated when dealing cards. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence that there would be so many bombs in a fight with a landlord? Liu Filong and Lao San did this just to trick Lao Lang. So Liu Filong shook his head and said, "That won't work. How can we still owe money in this card game? Besides, even if we can rob the fat sheep, who knows whether the fat sheep will just have cigarettes on him? So what do you think? I have to rely on robbing fat sheep to pay off my debts, and I don't even know how many years and months it will take to get so many cigarettes." Lao Lang said helplessly, "Brother Long, but I really can't take out the cigarettes I lost. Even if you don't want to, I have no choice." The third child also echoed, "Yes, Brother Long. This is just like owing money before the end of the world. If we pay it back slowly, we may still be able to pay it back, but if you ask us to pay it all at once, then we don't have any anyway, so we might just have to default on the debt. FK, there are still people like you. Why don't you try to default on my debt?" Liu Filong roared angrily, pretending to flip the table over. The third child quickly stood up and comforted, Brother Long, don't get angry. I'm just saying that we are now the boss. After all, these rich women who were so high and mighty before the end of the world will now serve us." In a low voice. It's just a few cigarettes. How can we really do anything bad?" After saying that, the third child laughed directly, and then ravaged the woman serving beside him. It's like he wants to vent his anger on them. These women around them were all captured after they came to this building. There is really nothing wrong with a woman who can live in this community before the end of the world and say that they are rich women. So after Liu Filong and the others captured these women, they really tortured and trained them. After all, the gap between these women and their previous identities is too great. Training them can give them a sense of satisfaction, and the effect is very good. These women are now as well behaved as be. These women have been tortured to the point of psychological shadow now. No matter how much men like Liu Filong humiliate them, they don't dare to resist. Liu Filong had no interest in the third child bullying women. He said with a straight face, "Don't change the topic. If you are willing to accept defeat, let's talk about how you can pay off the debt." The third child wondered, "Brother Long, we really don't have that much cigarettes now. Otherwise, do you think there's anything we need to do? Can we work for you to pay for it, Brother Long?" Liu Filong laughed and scolded, "FK, I'm your boss. If you need to work, just give me an order and you'll pay for it." The third child quickly slapped his mouth lightly. "I'm sorry, Brother Long, I said the wrong thing again. I didn't mean it like that. I just wanted to say, Brother Long, do you have any private work that you want us to do? We'll give it to you. You work to offset the debt. Or Brother Long, if you have anything you want, let's see if we have it and we can use it to offset the debt." After hearing this, Liu Filong's anger seemed to subside a little. He thought for a while, then slowly said, "You know me, third brother, I am just a big boss, and my usual hobbies are just a few: cigarettes, alcohol and women, but I don't have much interest in these guys around us now. If you can catch the woman in the building opposite, I won't take any of the cigarettes you owe me this time. And when the time comes, I will also give you half of the supplies found in that building. Besides, you also know that I am not a stingy person. I like to share. After I get tired of playing with the woman opposite, I can let you have a good time." When the third child heard Liu Filong's words, there was a trace of panic on his face and he said, "Brother, are you still obsessed with a woman in the building opposite? That man in that house is not easy to mess with. Let's not mess with her." It turned out that in a building next to the building occupied by Liu Filong and the others, there was also a house with survivors. Moreover, they are a young couple. The man is gentle and elegant, but the woman is very beautiful. Because the two buildings are not far apart, you can still see something even without a telescope. So when Liu Filong and the others were killing people here, the couple in the building next door also happened to see it. However, the man who lived in that building didn't seem to be afraid of them at all. and even watched Liu Filong and the others doing evil with great interest. Liu Filong and the others naturally regarded the man's behavior as a provocation to them, so they directly shouted for the man to bring his wife and surrender, but the man not only ignored them, but also deliberately ate and drank in front of their eyes, which was a naked provocation. So Liu Filong and the others rode a raft yesterday and killed them directly, but that time Liu Filong almost died. It turns out that the man on the opposite floor actually has a bow and arrow, as well as incendiary bombs and other weapons. He is not that easy to deal with. Third brother, you coward, you just said you would get me what I want to pay for it. Then Liu Filong looked at Lao Lang again and said, Old Lang, you are not the same as the coward, are you? But it's okay if you are coward, I just say it casually. In fact, Liu Filong certainly didn't say it casually. This was his main purpose of playing cards today, just to provoke Lao Lang and make him deal with the man on the opposite floor, because he knows the character of Lao Lang. He is the most face-saving, but the most unreasonable. The reason why Liu Filong set up this game, first of all, after he saw the woman on the opposite floor last time, he was really fascinated and has been thinking about her. In addition, the man in the building opposite was so annoying that he almost killed him, so Liu Filong wanted to take revenge also. Liu Filong felt threatened by his old wolf, so he also wanted to get rid of him, so he asked Lao Lang to deal with the man on the opposite floor for him. No matter what the outcome was, he would accept it. Sure enough, the old wolf hesitated for a moment and said, Brother Long, I am not a coward like the third brother. Anyway, there are no fat sheep coming to the door now, and it is boring to have nothing to do. Since you said so, then I will go and get that woman. I'll catch it and give it to you. Really? Old wolf, then it's all up to you. Liu Filong said with a happy look on his face. Swish swish. At this moment, Liu Filong's walkie-talkie rang. Brother Long, there is a fat sheep approaching in the distance. He has a speedboat. We must prepare quickly. On the roof of Liu Filong's building, a young man was holding a telescope to check the situation on the nearby water. Then, the speedboat driven by Li Xialuo appeared in his sight. The young man in charge of the investigation was stunned for a moment, and then his face showed great excitement. He quickly took out his walkie-talkie and contacted his boss. After hearing the report, Liu Filong was also stunned for a moment. He finally set up a trap for Lao Lang to take the bait. How come a fat sheep just happened to arrive at this moment? But as soon as he heard that fat sheep actually had a speedboat, Liu Filong was immediately moved. No, I will arrange action immediately. Chapter 227. The first time I did this business without capital, I fell over. Haha, Brother Long, we finally have a fat sheep. I didn't expect that there would be a speedboat. There must be food on that speedboat. Even if there is no food, as long as we can get the speedboat, it will be a big profit. Everyone was excited for a while, and then Liu Filong and the others immediately started taking action after they settled here. In order to rob the fat sheep in the past, their team worked together and formulated a complete robbery process. First of all, there are naturally people standing guard on the roof of the building. If they find any survivors passing by, they will know immediately then it's time to catch the fat sheep, and arrests are divided into civil arrests and armed arrests. The so-called literary arrest means that they will make the most beautiful and sexy women cry out for help, pretend to be pitiful, and then lure the survivors to come to their door. In this case, they can wait and catch the fat sheep that comes to their door without any effort. Of course, if someone doesn't fall for the trick, then they can only arrest them by force. Naturally, it is easy to understand that force arrest is the use of force to catch fat sheep. When Li Xialuo passed by in a speedboat, Liu Filong first sent the most beautiful woman among their slave girls to ask Li Xialuo for help with a pitiful appearance. Now that the temperature has risen, beauties can no longer just look at them, but not drive. So Liu Filong and others thought that Li Xialuo would definitely be fooled after seeing the beautiful woman asking for help. After all, if Li Xialuo is an upright man, then he will definitely act bravely, and even if Li Xialuo is a bad guy, he will still covet the body of a beautiful woman no matter what happens. If you see a beautiful woman asking for help, you will definitely come over in a boat to ask about the situation, right? So as long as Li Xialuo comes over in a speedboat, they can basically catch Li Xialuo. But Liu Filong and the others didn't expect that Li Xialuo just glanced at the woman asking for help, then seemed to have lost interest, and drove on in the speedboat. For a moment, Liu Filong and the others were stunned. Are all the survivors outside so cold-blooded and ruthless now? Are you so calm now, let alone saving people? He wasn't even interested in taking another look. In fact, Liu Filong and the others haven't encountered many other survivors since they left the previous stronghold. They don't know the situation of everyone outside. However, they remembered that when they got into trouble here, the survivors in this building didn't take much precaution against them and just saved them. However, Liu Filong and the others were actually prepared for this situation after all. Even before the end of the world, many people actually dare not meddle in other people's business or do good deeds. What's more, it's still the end of the world. Even if everyone didn't have the opportunity to contact the survivors outside because of the ice disaster, many people may still have good thoughts in their hearts, but they believe that as time goes by, there will be less and less trust between survivors from now on. When we meet, we will either fight or be on guard. So Liu Filong and the others prepared a second plan, which was to hide a few rafts on the water a few hundred meters away from them, and then arrange manpower. If the woman's temptation trap doesn't work, then they will row rafts and swarm up on the water to surround a passing fat sheep. Call the water ghost. Plan number 1 has failed. The fat sheep has already gone to your side. Catch him, watching. Li Xialuo leave on the speedboat. Liu Filong quickly used the walkie-talkie to contact his men who were ambushing the raft in the direction of Li Xialuo's direction. Brother Long, we saw the speedboat. Although we have many rafts, the speed is too slow. I don't know if the brothers can surround a speedboat. Soon, the reply from his subordinates came over the intercom. Liu Filong slapped his head. It seemed that this was really the case. In fact, the rafts they set up there to rest seem to be targeting ordinary survivors. They are the kind of ordinary survivors who also paddle their homemade rafts to survive. Only in this way can the ambush they set up seem to work. As for this speedboat, they didn't even have a small boat. So even if they ambush in front, it seems to be of no use. This is like arranging a group of people in wheelchairs to block a fat sheep driving a Lamborghini sports car on the highway. The sheep are quite fat, but they can't seem to eat them. Damn it, their city is not close to the sea and there is no lake before the end of the world. Where can they get a speedboat? Show me your skills and find a way to intercept that speedboat. When we have the speedboat, it will be easier to rob the passing fat sheep. Trouble was a struggle, but Liu Filong still issued a death order to his brothers. Haha, Brother Long, the people on the speedboat were so frightened by us that he actually stopped. The person on the other side of the intercom was announcing the good news to Liu Filong, but suddenly there was a burst of gunfire. Da. Da 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 da. Then, the sound from the intercom stopped abruptly. Li Xialuo stood on the speedboat, holding a rifle in his hand and shooting at the people on several rafts around him. Soon, the water near the rafts was dyed red. The people on the raft kept screaming. These thugs never imagined that they would finally get here alive, occupy a building, get some food, and capture a few women. I originally thought that good times were coming, and the survivors who passed by them through robbery would definitely have a very happy life. But what the hell is going on? This was their first time doing a business without capital, and they fell over without even thinking. Isn't this too unlucky? Brother, don't shoot. This is our first time. Don't kill me. I don't want to die. I surrender. Seeing that many people were killed, the people on the other rafts were frightened and immediately knelt on the raft and wanted to surrender. However, Li Xialuo ignored it and continued to shoot. At this time, everyone who was still alive showed despair and resentment. If they could, they would all want to rush forward and die with Li Xialuo. It's a pity that they can't do it. So in order to survive, some people jumped directly into the water at all costs, hoping to avoid Li Xialuo's shooting. Li Xialuo directly took out a few grenades, then pulled a ring and threw them over. Bang! Bang! There were several loud noises and water splashed up. Lao Gao, the flesh and blood of some people also flew up. Looking at these people who were killed by him, Li Xialuo's face became a little ugly. Originally, when passing by that building just now, a woman shouted for help. Li Xialuo knew that 99% of it was a trap. Li Xialuo didn't want to cause trouble today, so he let them go. But I didn't expect that these people also arranged manpower on the water, and he desperately wants to surround himself. Since these people are so seeking death, how could Li Xialuo let them go? And not only the people on these rafts, but also the people in the previous building. Li Xialuo had no intention of letting go. Li Xialuo always likes to cut the grass and root out the roots. Chapter 228, Trading Food and Women for Life. Just when Li Xialuo was going on a killing spree, everyone on their boss Liu Filong's side was filled with fear. Although in order to paralyze the survivors coming and going, They set the raft ambush farther away from their building, but Liu Filong knew something bad was going on this time when a burst of gunshots came from the intercom. He should have thought that there should be no such speedboats in their city. The speedboat that suddenly appeared may have come from another city, or even someone from the country or the military. Is this easy to provoke? However, not long after, there was another huge explosion. This made all the thugs, including Liu Filong, feel chills in their hearts. They don't want to die now. They live in a nice house that they could not even imagine before the apocalypse, and play with noble women that they could not even see before the apocalypse, and they have a lot of people, so the food can last for a while, as long as you give them some more time. Their team will definitely become stronger and stronger in the future, so their life now is much better than that during the ice disaster. They have finally lived such a life. How could they be willing to lose it all? The old wolf said. FK, Brother Long, think of a solution quickly. What should we do now? Liu Filong said angrily. Old wolf, who are you scolding? The old wolf said irritably. I will scold anyone who brings death to us. Liu Filong suddenly became even angrier. What the hell? You make a living by robbing survivors, but we all discussed this together. Now you blame me. He was so angry. This is also the reason why Liu Filong planned to kill this old wolf before. This guy fights very hard and is a good general. Moreover, there are many brothers in their team who have a good relationship with him and admire him very much. As a result, he became more and more arrogant, sometimes directly attacking Liu Filong. This makes Liu Filong, who wants to be a dictator, unbearable. He has already thought of countless ways to kill the old wolf in his mind. It's a pity that this kind of thing happened before even the first strategy was implemented, and now this guy is here to give him eye drops. How can Liu Filong not be angry? The old wolf also looked at Liu Filong coldly. It is true that we have discussed together to rob the survivors of the past, but you have to look at the situation before taking action. If you rob just anyone, isn't that just asking for death? Liu Filong took out a machete directly from his body and pointed it at Old Wolf. Old Wolf, you are looking for death, so I will help you first, not to be outdone. The old wolf also drew his weapon from his body. Liu Filong immediately looked at Lao San beside him, and his intention was very clear, asking him to help, and the two of them would deal with the old wolf together. The third child gave a wry smile, pointed outside and said, Brother Long, Old Wolf, what time is it now? There is no need for us to fight in the nest, right? You see, the enemy is almost here. We should think about how to escape this first. Let's talk about it later. Liu Filong and Lao Lang looked in the direction that Lao San was pointing, and their faces suddenly became even more ugly. It turns out that the speedboat is back again. It seems that the worst-case scenario has come. The men on the speedboat didn't give up after killing the people they had ambushed on the raft. They wanted to settle a score with them. At this moment, Liu Filong actually admitted in his heart that the old wolf was right. He was still too arrogant and provoked enemies he shouldn't have provoked. No, when I heard it was a speedboat and there was only one person on the speedboat, Lao Lang and the others kept shouting fat sheep. How come it's all his fault now? But there was no time for Liu Filong to think about this. Li Xialuo had already arrived downstairs in their speedboat. Brother, my name is Liu Filong. I am the leader here. We were wrong this time. We should not have provoked you. I wonder if you can let us live? As long as you are willing to give us a way to live, the conditions are whatever you want. Seeing Li Xialuo and Liu Filong standing upstairs with a gun in their hands, they immediately gave in. As for face, it is not worth mentioning. In the face of life and death, if Li Xialuo only had a gun in his hand, then Liu Filong might be able to take advantage of the geographical advantage upstairs to resist Li Xialuo for a while, but there were explosions before, indicating that this man not only had a gun, but also a bomb, so Liu Filong had no intention of resisting at all. He just wanted to use the most humble attitude and the greatest sincerity to see if he could get Li Xialuo to let them live. After all, killing them would be a waste of ammunition. Li Xialuo stood on the speedboat, looked at Liu Filong upstairs and said, Then tell me how much you want to buy your life for. Upon hearing this, Liu Filong showed a hint of joy on his face. Just talk about it. It seems that he was right. Even if he kills them, it is just a waste of bullets. If there is still talk now, then there is still hope of survival. Brother, we have just been here not long ago, and we haven't accumulated much wealth yet, but I'm willing to dedicate all our food and women to you, just asking you to let me live. Do you think that's okay? Li Xialuo was silent for a moment, and then said to Liu Filong upstairs, "Okay, since you are so sensible, it would be a bit stingy for me not to agree." Liu Filong quickly said excitedly, thank you brother for your noble hand." Li Xialuo said, "Stop talking nonsense, all of you bring all the food down. Remember, don't play tricks on me. No people or food can be left upstairs. I will check it later." Liu Filong's face froze. He didn't expect Li Xiaoluo to be so cruel. He didn't want to leave anything to them, but after thinking about it, he quickly agreed. People under the eaves have to bow their heads. Not long after, Liu Filong led a group of people downstairs carrying a lot of food, and then got on the raft park downstairs, 5 men and 3 women. "This is all the people they have left in this building. Brother, I brought the food and the women. Let's see how we hand over the goods," Liu Filong said to Li Xiaoluo on the speedboat. Li Xiaoluo glanced at the food and women at Liu Filong's side, with a hint of dissatisfaction on his face. "That's all you have?" The food that Liu Filong and the others brought down was actually quite a lot. The total amount of all kinds of food was at least more than 200 kilograms. When Liu Filong and the others got the food, they were excited for a long time, even happier than the captive women. After all, if there is no food, even if there are women, they will not have the strength to play, and this food can keep them alive for a long time, and also allows them to rob other survivors after they are full. But no matter how much food they brought down, it was very little in Li Xiaoluo's eyes. Otherwise, how could he kill someone? "Brother, our food and women are here. I definitely didn't lie to you," Liu Filong said with a twinkling look in his eyes. Chapter 229. Some people's arrogance is engraved in their bones. Li Xiaoluo looked at Liu Filong with a cold face and said, "You haven't lied to me yet? There are so many of you blocking the road and robbing, but you only have this little food? There are only 3 women? Then what do you eat and what do you use?" Liu Filong kept to a smile and said, "Brother, I really didn't lie to you. I dedicated all the food and women in our team to you. Actually, my brothers and I have just come here, and these foods and women are the spoils of war we grabbed in this building. As for highway robbery, we have just started this business, and we met you on our first operation, so we really don't have much wealth." "What?" Liu Filong said was sincere, as if he wanted to take out his heart and show it to Li Xiaoluo. He is not afraid of exposing the bad things he has done. Anyway, there are many such things in this doomsday world. Liu Filong just needs Li Xiaoluo to believe that he really contributed all the food and women. Although he did hide some food secretly, these are the only 3 women. He originally thought that he could grab a few more women, otherwise they wouldn't be able to share enough with so many brothers. In order not to provoke public anger, he did not dare to possess a woman alone. He has always felt that he, the boss, is quite frustrated, but the reason Liu Filong hid some food upstairs this time and brought the few women down instead was because he was not stupid. He knew that if he didn't bring those women down, Li Xiaoluo would definitely become pregnant and even go upstairs to search, and there is only so much space upstairs. Where can a few living people be hidden? So instead of being discovered and angering Li Xiaoluo, he might as well be more conscious. As for women, as long as he and his brothers survive, we can capture a few more in the future. As for why Liu Filong hid some food again, it was because even if Li Xiaoluo didn't kill them, they still had to eat after Li Xiaoluo left, so you must leave yourself a way to survive. Moreover, it is difficult to hide the large living people upstairs, but it is easier to hide some food. Even if Li Xiaoluo was really bored and ran upstairs to check, they could also say that it was hidden by the previous survivors and they didn't find it after they occupied this place. Li Xiaoluo looked at Liu Filong. "Are you sure this is all your belongings? You must know that you have wasted a lot of my bullets and even a few grenades. It seems that the little thing you have can't save all of you. Human life." Liu Filong felt a sudden surge in his heart, and he hurriedly said, "Brother, it is indeed our fault that we were ignorant of Taishan and provoked you before. But we just agreed, we will dedicate food and women to you, and you will let us go. You can't keep your words. We are really poor. We only have this food and women. If you don't believe it, you can go upstairs and search. If we still have women hiding upstairs, then I won't talk nonsense. If you don't, just kill me." Li Xiaoluo looked at Liu Filong with a half smile, but in fact, these food and women were not what he needed. These may be very precious in the eyes of ordinary survivors, but they are dispensable in the eyes of Li Xiaoluo. He just took a look at the information of those 3 women. If there is a woman among them with supernatural talents, it can be regarded as a treasure. It's a pity that people with supernatural talents are not just cabbage on the roadside. They can be encountered casually, So since there's nothing that Li Xiaoluo needs, he doesn't like the food and women at all, and Li Xiaoluo is still too little, so naturally he is deliberately looking for trouble. Anyway, no matter how much food and women Liu Filong has, Li Xiaoluo is still too little. They are all going to die too, and Li Xiaoluo is too lazy to talk nonsense with them. At this time, the third child next to Liu Filong saw Li Xiaoluo's face and thought that Li Xiaoluo was very dissatisfied with his harvest, and was immediately afraid that he would be in danger. So the third child hurriedly said, "Brother, our team really only has this little possessions, and we have dedicated them all to you." Then, the third child continued, "Brother, we also know that these things cannot make up for your losses. If you feel less, I actually know where there are food and women. Even that woman is a stunning beauty. That woman is absolutely one is worth 100. As he said this, the third child didn't show off and pointed to a corridor not far away. "Brother, have you seen that house in that building? A very young couple lives in it. The man in that family is very arrogant. Yesterday he deliberately drank wine and ate meat in front of us, but his wife is really very beautiful, and her appearance is no worse than those female celebrities before the apocalypse. Although she is a wife, her figure is simply amazing. I think it smells better than the little girl." The third child said to Li Xiaoluo with a salivating look on his face, as if his saliva would flow down at any time, "It seems that I can have a one-night stand with that woman, or let him die immediately." But when Li Xiaoluo wasn't paying attention, a glint flashed in Lao San's eyes. He has always been a sinister person. The previous conflict between their boss Liu Filong and Lao Lang was actually caused by him secretly instigating the conflict. It was also his idea to dig a hole deliberately to harm the old wolf. Now he deliberately leaked the beautiful young woman in the building opposite to Li Xiaoluo. This was also his plan, because he said that there are stunning beauties there. As long as he is a man, he will probably be interested, and Li Xiaoluo will definitely be no exception. But the third child knew that the man in the building opposite was not a soft persimmon by that time. Even if Li Xiaoluo has guns and bombs, he might be capsized in the gutter. At this time, what was even more coincidental was that just as Lao San pointed to the building opposite and finished speaking, two people appeared on the balcony of that house. There is a man and a woman, and looking at the woman, she is indeed very beautiful. However, what caught Li Xiaoluo's attention more was the man next to the woman, a man Li Xiaoluo seemed familiar with. In his memory, he was a very arrogant guy. "I didn't expect to meet old acquaintances here." The man on the opposite floor also looked at Li Xiaoluo and the others, as if he knew that Li Xiaoluo and the others were discussing the idea of hitting him. However, instead of showing fear on the man's face, he even gave Li Xiaoluo and the others an international gesture, the middle finger. This is a proper provocation to Li Xiaoluo and the others, so arrogant. This reminded Li Xiaoluo of how he and Josiah Tong were staying in the Lord's mansion when the ice disaster first occurred, and then Director Ma, the property manager of the community, brought a group of people to trouble him at that time. Li Xiaoluo was also very arrogant and even actively provoked everyone outside the house, but Li Xiaoluo certainly has the capital to be arrogant, because his Lord's mansion is a system-strengthened safe house. It is absolutely safe, and he has hoarded so much food that he can eat everyone to death. At this time, Li Xiaoluo was really curious. What did the guy in the building opposite have to be so arrogant? But speaking of it, this kind of character is indeed like the person he remembers. Some people are born to be superior to others. Their arrogance is engraved in their bones. Maybe even if it's the end of the world now, it can't be changed. Interesting. Li Xiaoluo looked at the third child who was advising him and said, "I saw the wife you just mentioned. She is indeed a beauty. You are very good." The third child felt happy in his heart, but kept saying that it was what he should do. Li Xiaoluo smiled slightly and continued, "Well, you men go and catch that woman for me, and you can compensate for my losses." When Lao San and the others heard this, they were a little dumbfounded. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230 Cooperation? When Li Xiaoluo saw the look in the eyes of Lao San and Liu Filong, he directly pointed the gun in his hand at them. "Why, you don't want to go? Since your own food and women are not enough to compensate for my losses, and then you asked where to find them, then naturally you need to get them for me. Do I have to go myself?" Liu Filong glared at Lao San. This guy is so talkative, and now he is causing trouble for himself. At this time, Even the third child wanted to slap himself in the face. His original intention was to see if he could trick Li Xiaoluo to death. In that case, they wouldn't have to sacrifice food and women to Li Xiaoluo. Maybe they can get Li Xiaoluo a speedboat, guns and ammunition by then. Then from now on, they will be really awesome. However, the third child would never have thought that Li Xiaoluo was not as impulsive as he thought, nor was he as stupid as he thought, and would not do it himself at all. Instead, let them be cannon fodder, and the reasons given were very reasonable, leaving them unable to refuse. Of course, as long as Li Xiaoluo has a gun in his hand, everything Li Xiaoluo says makes sense. They simply can't refuse. Brother, if you have something to say, let's go and get that woman for you. Yes, we don't have enough to compensate you, brother, so it's our turn. Facing the dark muzzle of the gun in Li Xiaoluo's hand, Liu Filong and Lao San decisively gave in, because they know that Li Xiaoluo is not trying to scare them, but actually knows how to kill people. After all, so many of their brothers have died at the hands of Li Xiaoluo. They only have some cold weapons in their hands, and it is still in the water world. They cannot find opportunities to get close to Li Xiaoluo and then suddenly launch a sneak attack, so if you want to survive, you have to go with Li Xiaoluo for the time being. Li Xiaoluo said impatiently, then go quickly, my time is precious. As long as you catch that beautiful woman for me, the grudge between us will be wiped out. After speaking, Li Xiaoluo threw a walkie-talkie to Liu Filong and others, asking them to contact him if they caught someone. Liu Filong and several of his men nodded quickly, and then boarded an empty raft dock downstairs. People like Liu Filong are quite ambitious. They have made many rafts alone. It seems they are waiting to carry forward their water piracy career. However, let's survive this time first. Liu Filong and the others rowed the raft vigorously, and then tried to quickly move towards the building next door. Whoosh, an arrow quickly shot towards the people on the raft. A man was shot directly through the stomach, then screamed and fell into the water. Suddenly, the water was dyed red. Hurry up and row the raft. He can't shoot arrows that fast. As long as we go downstairs of that building, he won't be able to shoot us. Liu Filong roared angrily at the few people still alive on the raft, reminding them not to be afraid. They must fight hard now. This is also the reason why Liu Filong and the others have never dared to come to this building to cause trouble before, because the man upstairs has a bow and arrow, and he can shoot very accurately. At that time, they were depressed about this for a long time, because no matter what age it is, I met a man in the city who had a bow and arrow at home, and his archery skills were very good. Maybe it's even less likely than meeting someone with a gun in his hand, but their neighbor turns out to be such a freak. Li Xiaoluo, who was watching the battle from the sidelines, also felt a little surprised at this time. I never thought that guy could do archery. You know, Li Xiaoluo saw that he was using real bows and arrows, not the kind of crossbow Li Xiaoluo prepared before the end. It is actually very simple to use a crossbow. Even an inexperienced woman can learn it with just a little effort, but bows and arrows are much more difficult than crossbows. Liu Filong and the other 5 men finally climbed up the opposite building at the cost of 2 lives. Seeing the brothers dying in front of them and being beaten passively, they all felt a fire in their hearts at this time. Now even if Li Xiaoluo doesn't force them to do things, they will still fight. When the time comes, they will capture that man and torture him, and then sacrifice his wife to Li Xiaoluo in exchange for their safety. After going up to the building opposite, Liu Filong and the others quickly found their target. After all, only 2 or 3 floors of that building were not flooded, so as long as they went upstairs, they didn't have to climb several floors of stairs. 1308. This is the family. Kick the door hard and open it, brother. Long. That naughty guy in the room has a bow and arrow. If he fires another arrow, we'd better be careful. Lao Sam quickly advised. Liu Filong said angrily, FK, we have already reached the door of his house. How dare he open the door and shoot us? Now we are in close combat. He is useless with a bow and arrow. Originally, they had a great situation, but now most of their brothers are dead, and there is no food and women left. Liu Filong felt very aggrieved. Li Xiaoluo naturally can't resist, so he can only vent his anger elsewhere. So Liu Filong can't wait now and wants to kill the people in the room in front of him. The third child advised, Brother Long, if you can scare that guy and let him come out with his wife to surrender, why should we insist on expending effort? Otherwise, just leave it to me to handle it. Liu Filong thought for a while, nodded and said, okay, I'll give you 3 minutes, and I'll see if you can handle that shit. The third child patted his chest. I know, I believe he will understand. Then The third child walked carefully to the door of room 1308, leaning against the wall. Boom. Boom. The third child knocked on the door neither gently nor hard. Then he said, "Brothers in the room, can we talk?" After a while, a man's voice came from the room. "Haha, a group of bandits and robbers? What do you wanna have to talk about?" Lao San said, "Brother, my name is Lao San. I don't know how to call you." The man in the room said arrogantly, "Grandpa's name, you don't deserve to know it. Don't you want to beat me? Aren't you greedy for my food? Don't you want my wife? Why are you talking so much? Come in up." The third child outside the door was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect this to happen. They had already arrived at the door of his house, and the man in the room was still so arrogant. If he didn't have other plans in mind, he really wanted to listen to Brother Long and just break down the door. "Brother, we did offend you last time when we first arrived. But then, we no longer want to be your enemy. We have no intention of dealing with you at all. The reason why we risked our lives to deal with you this time was because we were forced by the people on that speedboat. The thugs on that speedboat have guns and even bombs. He has already killed most of our brothers, and now he is forcing us to kill each other with you. Brother, now you are the only one here who has the ability to attack from a distance. How about we cooperate? Let's deal with the foreign enemies together." Chapter 231. They are indeed acquaintances. Liu Filong on the side was a little impatient at first, but after hearing the conversation between the third child and the man in the room, his eyes suddenly lit up. The third child is indeed the smartest person in their team. This method is really good. If the men in the room are willing to cooperate, then they might actually have a chance to kill Li Xiaoluo. After all, the reason why they didn't dare to resist Li Xiaoluo was because they didn't have weapons for long-range attacks. Let them use the machetes and hammers in their hands to deal with Li Xiaoluo's rifle. Isn't that just giving away food? But if they recruit someone who has a bow and arrow and is very skilled in archery, and then they make a plan, then there is no chance of killing Li Xiaoluo. As long as there is a chance to kill Li Xiaoluo, Liu Filong feels that the risk is worth it, because Liu Filong is not a fool. He knows that after Li Xiaoluo gets the so-called compensation they give him, he might turn against him. After tricking them into handing over all their food and women, and then killing them all, they will really become the biggest fools. Moreover, even if Li Xiaoluo could really keep his promise, he would let them go in the end. But they are also feeling aggrieved. Li Xiaoluo killed more than a dozen brothers, and in the end, he wagged his tail like a dog and begged for mercy, and then offered his own food and women with his own hands. Who doesn't feel angry and want to kill someone? That is to say, there was no hope of resistance before. So Liu Filong and the others could only endure the humiliation and bear the burden. Moreover, the main force behind the attack was also the man in the room, so they could just sit back and reap the benefits. However, their ideas are wonderful. The men in the room are not fools. How could they listen to them so easily? The man in the room said in a cold voice with disdain, "Don't think I don't know about the idiots outside the door. They are the enemies you provoked. What does it have to do with me? What foreign enemies are you talking about? I'm afraid you people have forgotten who you are. You are also foreign dogs. What? If before the end, you could come to this community and live in such a nice house? Just go ahead and daydream. So, you dog-bite dogs, don't get involved with me. I'll just watch the show at home. Damn. That BCH is so arrogant." Liu Filong and Lao San couldn't bear it anymore. Although many of the things the man said seemed to be true, they are indeed foreign invaders and not good people. Don't even think about living in such a high-end house before the end. But it's the end of the world now, and all the previous rules have long since changed. No matter how rich you were in the past, you may not be as good as a dog after the apocalypse. So now, why are you so proud? Moreover, what is the situation now? Although they cannot deal with Li Xiaoluo on the speedboat, they can deal with you. Liu Filong gritted his teeth and said towards the room, "Damn it, I am so shameless to you. We have already arrived at your door. Why are you so arrogant and domineering? When I break down the door of your house, I swear, I will castrate you with my own hands, and then capture your wife and give it to that man. We will still be able to live by then, and even if you regret it to death, you will still regret it. It's no use." The third child next to Liu Filong also had an ugly face. He never thought that the man in the room didn't play according to the routine at all. Now that they are on the verge of defeating the enemy, even if you don't want to cooperate, there is no need to be so arrogant, right? Who gave you the courage? Of course. The third most troublesome thing is that the men in the room don't take the bait and cooperate with them in this way. They can only continue to follow Li Xiaoluo's instructions and wait until they capture the woman in the room and present it to him, but I don't know why. Lao San always has a bad premonition. He had a premonition that even if they completed the task according to Li Xiaoluo's instructions, captured the beautiful women in the room and presented them to him, and then presented all the food and women, by then, they might still die, because Li Xiaoluo, whining, would never let them go. This is his intuition. However, before the third child could think more, a man's arrogant voice came from the room again. Haha, I am so afraid of you. I, Wang Heifen, am so scared. Why do you want to deal with me? Why are you talking so much nonsense? Just do it, FK, then stop talking nonsense and kick the door down. No matter how good-tempered Liu Filong was, he couldn't help it at this time, and the third child stopped trying to persuade him, because the Wang Heifeng in the room was simply a second-rate man. Before the end of the world, he might have been a second-generation rich man. He was used to being arrogant and domineering, and had no way of communicating at all. Then the only option is to use force. Bang! 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 Liu Filong and others used all their strength, and then kicked the door together as hard as they could. However, what made them dumbfounded was that even though they and the other grown men tried hard together, the door did not move at all. It actually made Liu Filong's legs hurt from the shock. Fortunately, Liu Filong and the others also brought hammers and other tools. Since he couldn't break it open with his feet, he didn't believe that he couldn't break it open. Smash it hard. Following Liu Filong's command, his men swung a sledgehammer and hit the door hard. 80. A loud bang. However, the door is still intact, let alone being smashed. There is not even a dent. Damn it, they didn't believe in evil, and then they smashed the door more than a dozen times, but there was still no damage to the door. Something is wrong. This door must be specially made, otherwise with the way they smashed it, the ordinary door would have been smashed long ago. Haha, keep going. Keep smashing. Haven't you all eaten? Why did you stop after smashing for so many times? You still want to break into my home and castrate me? Go ahead and daydream. This house I have is a safe house that I spent tens of millions to build. It is no worse than a bank vault. If any of you can enter my house, I will send my wife to his bed myself, even if you are ruthless. After hearing the BG on the door stopped, Wang Heifeng in the room started laughing arrogantly again. Wang Heifen, what nonsense are you talking about? A woman's angry voice came from inside the room. It was obviously Wang Heifeng's wife who was talking. She told Wang Heifeng that she would personally send her to another man's bed. She was obviously a little angry, even if it was just a joke. However, Liu Filong and Lao San outside the door finally understood why Wang Heifeng was so arrogant before. It turns out that not only does he have weapons in his hands, but the house he lives in is also fully equipped with defenses. How can you do this? Let's go and look in other rooms first to see if there are any powerful tools. However, what Liu Filong and Wang Heifeng didn't know was that all their actions were being monitored by Li Xiaoluo on the speedboat. After hearing Wang Heifeng's name, Li Xiaoluo's eyes changed. They are indeed acquaintances. Then, I heard Wang Heifeng say that as long as someone can enter his home, he will send his wife to him personally. Li Xiaoluo's eyes lit up. Chapter 232. The juicy cabbage was eaten by a pig. First, let's talk about who is Wang Heifen. Wang Heifeng was Li Xiaoluo's classmate when he was in college. However, Wang Heifeng was one of those with poor academic performance. The reason why he was able to go to college was entirely because his family was rich and powerful. To put it bluntly, I bought it into the school, because Wang Heifeng's study is actually just messing around. No matter how well he studies, he will be prosperous and wealthy for the rest of his life. Moreover, Wang Heifeng only attended university for more than a year, and then he went to study abroad for gold. In fact, saying that he went to study abroad halfway through his studies was just a nice way of saying it. The real reason was that Wang Heifeng often caused trouble in school and made people angry. Even if Wang Heifeng's family is rich and powerful, if he doesn't leave, the school will expel him, and Li Xiaoluo had a grudge against Wang Heifeng and was bullied by him. Speaking of which, since Wang Heifeng left the country, Li Xiaoluo has never heard from him again. I didn't expect to meet him here today. What a fate. Thinking of this, Li Xiaoluo thought, and suddenly the speedboat under Li Xiaoluo's feet disappeared. Then Li Xiaoluo also disappeared. The next moment, Li Xiaoluo appeared directly at Wang Heifeng's home. At this time, in Wang Heifeng's home, Wang Heifeng was looking proudly through the peephole on the door. and then looked at several thugs outside who were helpless and furious. He has liked this feeling since he was sensible. He looked at others as if they wanted to beat him to death, but in the end they could only watch him being arrogant and powerless. I never thought that even after this apocalypse, he would still be the most handsome person alive, because he is afraid of death before the end, but actually he knows that he has offended many people, so he spent a lot of money to build his home into a doomsday fortress. As long as it is not bombed with the missiles, don't try to break into his house easily. Moreover, during the time when he was studying abroad, besides eating, drinking, having fun and playing with women, Wang Haifeng's favorite thing was hunting, because weapons such as bows, arrows, and guns were not strictly controlled abroad, so he could have fun and play as a real man should thing. Even if he later returned to China, he could not bring back many of the guns and ammunition he collected, but Wang Haifeng still collected many prohibited weapons at home, for example, sabers, crossbows, bows and arrows, etc. Before the end of the world, these weapons were just collections, but after the apocalypse, this is his confidence. In addition, on a whim before the end, he also hoarded a batch of foreign military rations at home, so when the end of the world came, Wang Haifeng's house was the strongest fortress, and he had weapons and food, so he always looked at the situation outside with a smile. Wang Haifeng felt that he was the son of luck. Otherwise, how could he have thought of taking precautions before the end? This is also the reason why Wang Haifeng is so arrogant towards Liu Filong and the others, because he has a safe house, food and weapons. As long as he doesn't go out to find his own death, he won't be afraid of any survivors coming to trouble him. When Li Xiaoluo appeared at Wang Haifeng's house, in addition to seeing Wang Haifeng, who was proud of himself behind the door, there was also a woman sitting on the sofa. This woman is naturally Wang Haifeng's wife. She is a very beautiful young woman in her 20s. She has a beautiful face and a voluptuous figure. Although the clothes are not very revealing, her chest is still pushed up high. At first glance it looks quite interesting. What a juicy cabbage. It was swallowed up by a pig. Li Xiaoluo remembers that when Wang Haifeng and Wang Haifeng were classmates, Wang Haifeng not only loved to bully people, but also had a major hobby. That is, he especially liked to rely on his own billions of dollars to take advantage of others, including classmates in his own class. For example, if he falls in love with a classmate's girlfriend, within a few days, that girl will sit in his Ferrari sports car and go for a ride, and he doesn't like to hide it. After he wins someone else's girlfriend, he also likes to show it off in front of the boy who was forced into the corner. Many people hated him so much that they wanted to kill him, but there's nothing you can do against him after all. Most of them are their girlfriends who choose to betray themselves. Some of them want Wang Haifeng's money, and some of them want to marry into a wealthy family and rise to the top. Even if some people's girlfriends were tricked by Wang Haifeng, they still couldn't fight Wang Haifeng, and they couldn't even beat him up after all. Wang Haifeng not only has a bunch of thugs around him at all times, he even has a dedicated bodyguard in the dark. Just in Li Xiaoluo's thoughts, you? Who are you? The woman on the sofa let out a scream, and finally realized that there was another person in the room. Wang Haifeng, who was looking at the situation outside with pride, suddenly heard his wife's frightened voice, and was immediately startled, and quickly looked at Li Xiaoluo. Who are you? How did you get into my house? Seeing a big living person suddenly appear, Wang Haifeng couldn't believe his eyes. What the FK is going on? He was always guarding the door. Why did this man show up, climbed in through the window? It seems impossible. Even the windows in his house are specially made and the glass is bulletproof. How could someone sneak in quietly? But Wang Haifeng couldn't think too much. The most important thing now was not to find out how this man got in but how to kill him, so Wang Haifeng asked Li Xiaoluo. In fact, he just wanted to paralyze Li Xiaoluo, and his body was slowly moving. The purpose was to get the bow and arrow placed on the coffee table, and then shoot Li Xiaoluo. Wang Haifeng regrets it now. He was still too arrogant. He just mocked the thugs at the door and did not hold the weapon in his hand. The main reason is that he has always believed that his safe house is absolutely safe. As long as he does not open the door from the inside, no one can enter his home. I said, old classmate, we haven't seen each other for many years. There is no need for you to show off your swords and guns when we meet, right? Li Xiaoluo naturally saw Wang Haifeng's little move, and then quickly walked to Wang Haifeng with a smile on his face. In fact, even if Wang Haifeng gets his bow and arrow, he will not pose a threat to Li Xiaoluo after all. Li Xiaoluo can have a gun in his hand at any time. Can his bow and arrows be as fast as Li Xiaoluo's gun? What's more, Li Xiaoluo also has the power of teleportation. Can his arrows be as fast as Li Xiaoluo's teleportation? However, Li Xiaoluo neither wants to kill Wang Haifeng directly nor use teleportation to avoid it. He also wants to catch up with his old classmates, so Li Xiaoluo, who walked in front of Wang Haifeng, suddenly took action. He took a step forward and punched out with his right hand. With astonishing speed and power, he punched Wang Haifeng in the stomach. Wang Haifeng let out a scream, and then bent down in pain. The arrogance on his face instantly disappeared, replaced by an expression of pain. Li Xiaoluo actually didn't use all his strength with this punch, because he didn't want to kill Wang Haifeng directly. The punch just made Wang Haifeng lose his ability to resist, and a pair of handcuffs suddenly appeared in Li Xiaoluo's hands. With a click, Li Xiaoluo cuffed Wang Hai's hands. Chapter 233. I'm happy about your sister. Old classmate, why hasn't your temper changed at all? We just met and you want to shoot me with a bow and arrow? Isn't this a bit too much? Looking at Wang Haifeng, who was handcuffed and hunched over with a face of pain, Li Xiaoluo still hurt him. It's like even though he hit someone, he is the innocent victim. At this time, Wang Haifeng felt as if his internal organs had been displaced, and his face was filled with pain. This man who suddenly appeared in his home was so powerful. The punch just made him feel as if he had been hit by a car. It was so powerful. However, Li Xiaoluo's words made him have the urge to vomit blood. You suddenly appeared in your home, and you came up so fiercely that you punched yourself. Did you go too far in the end? Are you still speaking in human language? However, the beautiful young woman next to her came back to her senses, and she keenly heard the key points of Li Xiaoluo's words. The beautiful young woman bravely walked up to Wang Haifeng, wanting to prevent Li Xiaoluo from hurting others. Then she looked at Li Xiaoluo with a smile and said, "Sir, my name is Sun Qianqian, and my husband's name is Wang Haifeng. Are you really my husband's classmate?" Li Xiaoluo looked at the beautiful young woman in front of him. This Wang Haifeng had indeed given birth to a good child before the end. He is a completely uneducated guy, but he can go to college. He doesn't have to study when he is in school. He can just eat, drink, have fun and pick up girls all day long, but his wealth is still something that ordinary people cannot obtain after a lifetime of hard work. Moreover, for a man like him, he still merits such a beautiful wife. Li Xiaoluo nodded and said, "Yes, my name is Li Xiaoluo, and I am a college classmate with Wang Haifeng. But speaking of it, Wang Haifeng and I were only classmates for more than a year, and then he went to study abroad." Hearing what Li Xiaoluo said, not only did Sun Qianqian believe that Li Xiaoluo was really Wang Haifeng's classmate, but even Wang Haifeng, who was looking full of pain, also believed it, because Wang Haifeng went to college in China for more than a year, which is actually not that glorious, especially after he studied abroad, obtained a degree from a prestigious foreign university, and then returned to China to work in the family business. He was even more reluctant to mention his experience in domestic universities, so not many people know about this, let alone outsiders. "Your name is Li Xiaoluo." Wang Haifeng's pain seemed to have eased a little. He stood up and looked at Li Xiaoluo, as if he wanted to recall whether Li Xiaoluo was his classmate. However, Wang Haifeng used to have his eyes higher than his head, and few people can remember him. What's more, he has only stayed there for more than a year. Except for a few beautiful girls, he has long forgotten everyone else. However, Sun Qianqian on the side smiled sweetly, and she had the feeling of looking back and smiling. She quickly said, "It's such a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet my husband's classmate in this apocalypse. Please sit on the sofa quickly. Let me get you a cup of tea." After saying that, Sun Qianqian immediately gave Wang Haifeng a wink. Tell him to call someone quickly. In this situation, even if he really forgot Li Xiaoluo, his classmate, but you have to pretend to remember it, it's best to get close to each other more often and play the emotional card, so that Li Xiaoluo won't hurt them. Sun Qianqian is still very smart. After learning that Li Xiaoluo was Wang Haifeng's classmate, she immediately did not blame Li Xiaoluo for beating someone, nor did she plead for Li Xiaoluo to remove the handcuffs from Wang Haifeng's hands. Instead, he was very hospitable and asked Li Xiaoluo to sit down and pour tea for Li Xiaoluo. In this way, if Li Xiaoluo was embarrassed, he would let Wang Haifeng go, but Wang Haifeng's expression suddenly changed. He had been arrogant and domineering for so many years, and he had to give in to others, and he still had to give in front of his former classmates. Wang Haifeng is really embarrassed by this, but the safe house and weapons he relied on and spent a lot of money to build have lost their effect, and he was handcuffed by Li Xiaoluo again. Now life and death are in Li Xiaoluo's hands, So there is no other way. Wang Heifeng can only endure the humiliation and bear the burden before he understands Li Xiaoluo's character, but don't let him find the opportunity, otherwise he will definitely let Li Xiaoluo die miserably. Oh, it turns out it's you, Li Xiaoluo. Yes, I remembered. We are classmates. We have been together in college for more than a year. We haven't seen each other for many years, right? I am so happy to see you today. After saying that, Wang Heifeng had a very forced smile on his face. Li Xiaoluo looked at Wang Heifeng with a half smile. Really? Tell me, old classmate, how happy you are after seeing me today. How happy am I that God is riding a horse? I'm happy about your sister. This Li Xiaoluo must have done it on purpose. Wang Heifeng's heart was filled with hatred, and he felt that Li Xiaoluo must be deliberately teasing him and mocking him. After all, Li Xiaoluo had just beaten him and handcuffed him. No one would be happy, right? I was giving him face without conscience, but this Li Xiaoluo was so shameless. If before the end, he would not think of any way to kill Li Xiaoluo, he just reversed his surname, but now, he can only endure it and continue to endure it. Classmate Li, take a sip of tea first, son. Qian had already poured a cup of tea from the coffee table and handed it to Li Xiaoluo respectfully, treating Li Xiaoluo as a distinguished guest. Although the relationship between her and Wang Heifeng is actually not good, Sun Qian knows the truth of the relationship between lips and teeth, especially in such an apocalyptic world. If something happens to Wang Heifeng, her future life may be very miserable, so Wang Heifeng couldn't lose face, but she had to stabilize Li Xiaoluo. After admiring Wang Heifeng's aggrieved look for a while, Li Xiaoluo felt a little relieved and Li Xiaoluo said directly, "Okay, Mr. Wang, you don't have to be pretentious. Don't say that you may not remember me as a classmate. Even if you really remember me, but do you think that among our classmates, except for a few of your losers, are we still on good terms?" Li Xiaoluo's words made Wang Heifeng and Sun Qian's expressions change. Although Wang Heifeng doesn't remember Li Xiaoluo is right. When he was studying in college in China, except for a few henchmen, he really despised even dogs. Sun Qian obviously also knows something about Wang Heifeng. Now listening to Li Xiaoluo say this, Li Xiaoluo, this so-called classmate, may not be so easy to deal with. Now that the words had been spoken, Wang Heifeng had had enough, and his arrogant character showed up again, loudly saying, "Okay, Li Charlotte, since you opened the skylight and spoke frankly, I won't be hypocritical anymore. Tell me, why did you come to my house today? What do you want to do before you leave? Even if I bullied you when I was in school, I will give you $5 now. Millions. Can our grudges be evened?" Chapter 234 Mr. Wang, it's time for you to fulfill your promise. Li Xiaoluo couldn't help but laugh. Our young Master Wang has really not changed at all. No matter what he does, he always throws money at it directly, and he is still so generous. He spends 5 million in one move, maybe. Ordinary people can't earn this much money in a lifetime. I'm really rich, Wang Heifeng said proudly. If you want money, then quickly untie my handcuffs. Considering that we are classmates, maybe I will give you a little more. You also know that to me, money is just a series of numbers. I'm not short of money. Sun Qian gave an embarrassed smile. Upon hearing this, Li Xiaoluo was deliberately making fun of her husband, and he was still proud of it. I thought Li Xiaoluo really liked money. Sure enough, Li Xiaoluo spoke again. Young Master Wang, don't worry, I haven't finished speaking yet. You have not changed except that you like to throw money at people, and you are also mentally retarded. After so many years, why don't you eat more walnuts to replenish your brain? What did you say? When Wang Heifeng heard this, his face turned red with anger. Li Xiaoluo said coldly, "Why, am I wrong? How long has it been since the end of the world? Do you see who else needs the money before the end? That is just a pile of waste paper now. 5 million is really a lot. But do you believe that you can't even buy a piece of bread?" Wang Heifeng gritted his teeth angrily at Li Xiaoluo's stupid words, but he also knew that Li Xiaoluo was right. Now if there is bread, who wants money? Not to mention 5 million, even 5 small goals are useless. Wang Heifeng thinks he is used to it, so he always treats others as fools. If it is before the end, even if others are not fools, under his lechery, they can only become fools. It's a pity that no one can tolerate him now. Even if Li Xiaoluo hadn't met Wang Heifeng today, even if it were another classmate, Wang Heifeng would definitely be punished. Wang Heifeng was helpless and furious for a while. But he couldn't express his anger and could only suppress it in his heart, and he even said with a smile on his face, "Li Xiaoluo, tell me, besides money, what else do you want? As long as it's not too much, I'll give it to you. This will settle our grudges, son." Qian also helped by saying, "Yes, classmate Li, my husband used to be young and frivolous and ignorant, so he did some bad things. After getting married, he often said in front of me that he regretted it and shouldn't have been such a badass before." After looking at Wang Heifeng's performance in Sun Qian's beauty, Li Xiaoluo smiled slightly. "Not bad, the prodigal son has turned back. I never thought that the BD Mr. Wang in the past would actually have the conscience to find out, but you have misunderstood. Although Mr. Wang bullied me once before, in order to establish his authority, he and his thugs beat me up, but that was all many years ago. It is already in the past style. I almost forgot, so I don't want anything from you. I, Li Charlotte, am not a person who takes advantage of others." Wang Heifeng couldn't help complaining, "It would be weird if you forget, UBCH. If you forget, can you still remember me?" However, Li Xiaoluo's words still surprised Wang Heifeng. "Li Xiaoluo, you really don't want anything from me, so you just let me go? Is this Li Xiaoluo really an upright and selfless person? But just now I punched myself out and all the gulf water came out, and then I cuffed myself again. What does that mean?" Li Xiaoluo shook his head. "I really don't want your things as compensation, son." Qian hurriedly thanked her and said, "Classmate Li, you are such a good person. Let's do this. We still have some food at home, so let's get you some food." This can be regarded as my husband's apology for his previous ignorance. Wang Heifeng glared at Sun Qian, blaming her for talking too much. Since Li Xiaoluo said he didn't want anything, why should he give him food? As Li Xiaoluo said before, food is so precious now. Even if it is 5 million, it may not be able to buy a loaf of bread. Giving it to low-class people like Li Xiaoluo is a waste of food. In Wang Heifeng's heart, even though he is now captured by Li Xiaoluo, he still looks down on Li Xiaoluo deep down. I think Li Xiaoluo cannot be compared with him at all. He is just a person at the bottom of society. The reason why Wang Heifeng still has such outrageous thoughts is actually because since the end of the world, he has been living at home, eating and drinking, and has not been disturbed by outside survivors. Therefore, his thinking still retains to some extent the arrogance before the end, but as long as someone lets him see the cruelty of the post-apocalyptic world, he will be able to recognize the reality. Li Xiaoluo shook his head. "Let's forget about the past. We don't need to live in memories all the time, so I don't need you to pay any price for the past." What a good man. Wang Heifeng looked at Li Xiaoluo and thought to himself, but he's also an idiot. Only Sun Qian looked at Li Xiaoluo, especially as a woman. She could feel something strange in Li Xiaoluo's eyes when he looked at her. Sun Qian felt a little uneasy and worried. She felt that things were not that simple. Wang Heifeng looked at Li Xiaoluo and said, "Li Xiaoluo, since you don't want my things and don't care about the past, can you untie my handcuffs?" Li Xiaoluo shook his head. "Young Master Wang, don't worry. I don't care about the past grudges, but now you still have promises that you haven't fulfilled. You are also a big shot, so you can't keep your promises. You owe me something." Wang Heifeng was stunned for a moment and couldn't help but said, "Promise? Something I owe you? What are you talking about?" Li Xiaoluo smiled slightly. "Young Master Wang, are you so forgetful? You just finished speaking a few minutes ago. Since you are forgetful, let me help you recall it. Just now when my people were breaking down the door outside, you said it yourself that if someone could enter your home, you would personally send your wife to his bed. Now that I have entered your home, it's time for you to fulfill your promise." Li Xiaoluo, what did you say? Are you going to FK my wife? Wang Heifeng immediately looked at Li Xiaoluo angrily, and then, regardless of his hands being handcuffed, he hit Li Xiaoluo like an angry bull. However, Li Xiaoluo just stretched out his hand and pushed, and Wang Heifeng was staggered to the ground by a huge force. Now Wang Heifeng is the meat on the chopping block. Li Xiaoluo just kills him if he doesn't want to. It would be boring to kill directly. Since fate brought them together, Li Xiaoluo must let him experience the feeling of being bullied. Li Xiaoluo looked at Wang Heifeng with a smile on his face, and said like an innocent person, "Young Master Wang, why are you so angry? Being so angry will hurt your body. This is what you said yourself. If anyone can enter your home, you will give it to your wife yourself." Chapter 235. Can there be some integrity between people? Li Xialuo, UBD, you want to play with my wife, and you want me to send you to your bed myself, don't bully me too much, Wang. Heifeng fell to the ground with anger on his face. Li Xiaoluo was a naked humiliation to him. He wanted to pounce on Li Xiaoluo and bite him to death. From the time he was born to now, he was the only one who robbed other people's things. How could anyone else take his own things? And speaking of it, playing with other people's women and wearing colored hats on others was indeed one of his hobbies. Because he has no shortage of women at all, any school beauty or little star will obediently climb into his bed as long as he wants, but women are readily available, so there's no point in that. That's why Wang Heifeng later wanted to do something exciting, specializing in taking advantage of other people's corners, such as the girlfriend of a classmate, the wife of an employee of his father's company. Anyway, it's as exciting as it gets, and after he succeeds in prying the corner, he will try his best to let them know that he has been wearing a colored hat. Seeing the pain of those men only made him feel excited, but now, Li Xiaoluo actually wants to put a colored hat on him, and he also wants him to agree to it personally. Isn't this a naked humiliation? In addition, scenes like this and operations like this were all things he had done to others before. Now suddenly someone was doing this to him, and Wang Heifeng couldn't accept the exchange of identities for a while. Li Xiaoluo looked at the angry Wang Heifeng. He was not angry at all, and said calmly, "Young Master Wang, did I bully others too much? Those are what you said yourself. No one put a knife on your neck to force you to say it. Right? Why did I go too far in deceiving others?" After saying that, Li Xiaoluo turned to look at Sun Kaianqian, MRS. "Wang, what do you say? I think you have always been very sensible. You don't want to be a rogue like Mr. Wang, right?" In fact, Li Xiaoluo really wanted to play with Wang Heifeng's wife. Wang Heifeng couldn't stop her, and even Sun Kaianqian couldn't resist. The two of them have no ability to confront Li Xiaoluo now. Whether Li Xiaoluo wants to kill Wang Heifeng or carry Sun Kaianqian to bed, it is all a matter of effort. But who told him to be Wang Heifeng? I really thought that the past things were in the past tense. Li Xiaoluo was just talking about it. Li Xiaoluo wants to humiliate Wang Heifeng severely. After hearing Li Xiaoluo's question, Sun Kaianqian's face turned red with embarrassment, and she didn't know whether it was from embarrassment or anger. Of course, she was actually more angry with Wang Heifeng, because when Wang Heifeng said those words to people outside, she was a little angry. She knew that Wang Heifeng was intentionally outcast, but she shouldn't make fun of her as a metaphor. It's fine now, you've been punished. To be more precise, Wang Heifeng got retribution for what he had done before. Sun Kaianqian also understood clearly that Li Xiaoluo came here to avenge and humiliate Wang Heifeng. Seeing Li Xiaoluo ask Sun Kaianqian directly, before Sun Kaianqian could speak, Wang Heifeng said coldly, "Li Xiaoluo, don't even think about it, and don't even think about laying a finger on my wife." Li Xiaoluo glanced at Sun Kaianqian, and then looked at Wang Heifeng. "You too, if you're like this, it will be meaningless. Can there be some integrity between people?" This time it was not only Wang Heifeng who wanted to scold her, but even Sun Kaianqian was speechless. "Look, is this human language? You want to play with someone else's wife, and you want someone to send her to your bed in person, so why are you talking about integrity?" If they weren't now afraid that Li Xiaoluo would hurt them and couldn't beat Li Xiaoluo, otherwise Wang Heifeng and Sun Kaianqian would have driven Li Xiaoluo out of their house. After Li Xiaoluo finished speaking, his face turned cold, and then he looked at Wang Heifeng. "Young Master Wang, we are old classmates after all. If you are so dishonest, I really won't do anything to you. However, if you do this, then I will let in all my people outside the door. They are all migrant workers, and there is no reason for their actions. When the time comes when they castrate you, Mr. Wang, and then do something to your wife, then don't blame me for not reminding you." Wang Heifeng and Sun Kaianqian's expressions changed. They thought that Li Xiaoluo would not let them go easily, but they did not expect that Li Xiaoluo would be so cruel. Especially Wang Heifeng knew in his heart that Li Xiaoluo was not an alarmist. Who are the group of men outside the door? He can see a lot of them at home these days. When the group of men across the street killed people and did bad things, they had no intention of avoiding them. In addition, just now he was arrogant and domineering towards the group of men outside and mocked them severely. If those men were allowed to enter the house, the consequences would definitely be more serious than what Li Xiaoluo said. Wang Heifeng is really scared. "I'm scared." Li Xiaoluo, "No, brother Xiaoluo, we have been classmates for so many years, you don't have to be so heartless, right?" I was wrong. I was really wrong. I used to be a BD, and I apologize to you, Li. Xialuo looked at Wang Heifeng and smiled slightly. Young Master Wang, you have already said that we won't talk about the past. Let's talk about the current things. Do your own words still count? However, Li Xiaoluo's smile looked like a devil to Wang Heifeng. It made him want to cut Li Xiaoluo into pieces, but he was also extremely timid and scared. Wang Heifeng didn't want to be bullied by the group of people outside the door who were even lower than Li Xiaoluo, or even castrated by those people and became a eunuch. I don't want my wife to be humiliated by the lowest men. In turn, that would make him 10,000 times more uncomfortable than sending his wife to Li Xiaoluo's bed in person. Wang Heifeng is confused. Seeing that Wang Heifeng didn't answer, Li Xiaoluo took the walkie-talkie directly from his waist and pressed the call button. Swish swish, Li Xiaoluo said to the intercom, Liu Filong. Come to the door of room 1308 again. Room 1308 is actually Wang Heifeng's house. Liu Filong and the others couldn't break the door before, so they went to other rooms to search for tools. They wanted to find if there were any more destructive door-breaking tools. Brother, don't worry, that house is a bit strong. We are now looking for any other tools. Stop talking nonsense. There is no need to find any tools. Go to Wang Heifeng's house and wait for you now. Okay, brother, we'll go there. Liu Filong, who was rummaging through boxes and cabinets in the next room, quickly answered on the intercom. Then he took his only two remaining men to the door of Wang Heifeng's house, but looking at the closed door, Liu Filong and the others were still at a loss what to do. Li Xiaoluo urged them, but they couldn't open this door at all. However, at this time, Li Xiaoluo's voice suddenly came from the room. Liu Filong, are you outside? When Liu Filong and others outside the room heard Li Xiaoluo's voice in the room, they couldn't believe their ears. Isn't Li Xiaoluo, the murderer, still on the speedboat? Why is he in the room? Chapter 236. Don't open the door. We have something to discuss. Brother, we are outside. Have you already entered this stupid Wang Heifeng's house? Brother, please open the door, and we will come in to help you deal with him before he becomes so arrogant. Although Liu Filong was very confused, he didn't know when Li Xiaoluo went to this building, and he didn't know how Li Xiaoluo entered Wang Heifeng's house, but he doesn't want to think too much now. He just wants to enter the room and humiliate Wang Heifeng severely. Let him keep being arrogant and keep mocking them. Now it will fall into their hands. Only the third child next to Liu Filong felt a pity. He actually wanted Wang Heifeng to be the knife in his hand, and then use this knife to deal with Li Xiaoluo. Even though Wang Heifeng was very arrogant before and refused to cooperate with them, Lao San never gave up his idea, because since Wang Heifeng doesn't want to cooperate, then they will break into his home and threaten him, and Wang Heifeng will naturally cooperate. However, now Lao San's plan has completely gone bankrupt. He also couldn't figure it out. They just left for a while, not 10 minutes in total. Right, how did Li Xiaoluo, who was supposed to be on the speedboat, suddenly enter Wang Heifeng's house? At this time, Wang Heifeng was caught by Li Xiaoluo, so there was no cooperation. Now the third child can only pray that Li Xiaoluo keeps his word and will spare their lives when the time comes. Hearing Liu Filong's voice from outside the door, Li Xiaoluo replied calmly, you don't need to come in for the time being. Just stay at the door. Don't go anywhere or do anything until I notify you. Liu Filong was stunned for a moment, but he still said obediently outside the door, I know, we will guard the door. Brother, just call us if you need anything. Li Xiaoluo glanced at Wang Heifeng. Young Master Wang, what do you think? Originally, I was doing it for the sake of our classmates, and then you gave me your wife, so I wanted to protect you and prevent you from being harmed by my men, but if you don't keep your word, then I have no reason to protect you. Otherwise, how can I convince the public? I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. If you really don't agree, then I will open the door and let my men in. Oh no. When the time comes, I can't stop them from doing anything. With that said, Li Xiaoluo walked towards the door, as if he was about to open the door. Now not only Wang Heifeng, but also Sun Qianqian is anxious. She knew that Li Xiaoluo was not threatening them. With her appearance and beauty, if all the men outside the door were let in, the consequences, although Sun Qianqian's relationship with Wang Heifeng is not very good, she is not a casual woman, but the current situation no longer allows her to be a chaste and martyr woman. Either she chooses to devote herself to serving a man, or she will be tortured and humiliated by a group of men. Sun Kaianqian actually knows the best choice, but she is still very confused in her heart. After all, she and Wang Heifeng are husband and wife. Seeing Li Xiaoluo's actions, Wang Heifeng couldn't help it at first, and said loudly, "Li Xiaoluo, wait, don't open the door. As long as you don't open the door to let those idiots outside come in and hurt me, we can talk about anything." Sun Kaianqian was stunned and looked at Wang Heifeng in astonishment. "Husband, what do you mean?" Although she was struggling and considering in her heart, she never thought that her husband would surrender before she did. Although Wang Heifeng only said that we could talk, what should we talk about? Everyone knows it. Sun Kaianqian really didn't expect that Wang Heifeng was usually arrogant, domineering, bad-tempered, and over the top, but now that someone asked him to put his wife to bed with his own hands, he actually lost his temper and surrendered so quickly. At this moment, Sun Kaianqian looked at Wang Heifeng with strange eyes. "As a man, you surrender faster than you, a woman." At this time, when Wang Heifeng heard Sun Kaianqian's inquiry, he was ready to fight. He looked at Sun Kaianqian. "Honey, we have no choice now, so we can only aggrieve you. Otherwise, you know that when the men outside the door come in, we will all be tortured to death by them. Don't worry, I will have a good talk with Li Xiaoluo, and I won't let you get hurt." Sun Kaianqian didn't speak anymore, and she didn't know what to say. She was in a very complicated mood at this time. Will not be harmed. Doesn't being sent to bed with another man by him not count as harm? Does it have to be a beating or something to be considered an injury? Originally, Li Xiaoluo had already reached the door at this time, but his hand that was about to open the door stopped. Li Xiaoluo looked at Wang Heifeng. "Master Wang, tell me, what do you want to talk to me about? Let me remind you, it's best to be sincere. I don't have much time to chat with you." Wang Heifeng said quickly. "I know. In fact, I, Wang Heifeng, have been a man of my word since I was a child. Since you have really entered my home, then my wife will accompany you once." Speaking of this, Wang Heifeng felt mixed emotions in his heart and his teeth were itching with hatred, but he calmed down, and then continued, "But I abide by what I said, but you Li Xiaoluo also have to give us some guarantees." Li Xiaoluo was a little curious. "What guarantee?" "First, after we fulfill our promise, you can't let those men outside touch my wife again. Second, neither you nor the men outside can occupy my home, nor can they live in my home, nor can they kill us. Third, when you and my wife are doing that, you must bring a small umbrella." Li Xiaoluo waited for Wang Heifeng to finish speaking, and said with strange eyes, "That's all, nothing else." Wang Heifeng thought about it again, but he still didn't dare to make any more requests. He just wanted to send people like Li Xiaoluo away quickly. "As for my wife, let's talk about it later." Wang Heifeng shook his head. "Nothing else, as long as you agree to these few requests of mine and then keep your promise." Li Xiaoluo gave a thumbs up and smiled. "Young Master Wang is a good husband. He cares about your wife. I admire you." Wang Heifeng couldn't tell that Li Xiaoluo was deliberately mocking him, but he gritted his teeth and pretended not to hear it. "Li Xiaoluo, just tell me whether you agree to the 3 requirements I mentioned." "Right." Li Xiaoluo smiled. "Okay, I agreed, mainly because your wife, Mr. Wang, is really beautiful and has a good figure. I can't wait, so I don't bother to bargain with you." Li Xiaoluo, UBD, BD. Li Xiaoluo's words made Wang Heifeng feel depressed again. Speaking of which, Wang Heifeng may also feel that it is retribution. Before the end of the world, he did not know how many people gave colored hats, so he has always been very strict with his wife, but I never thought that such a day would come, or the hat I put on myself. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237. He's bearing the humiliation. However, Wang Heifeng refused to admit it. He was the coward and put the head on himself. He is bearing the humiliation. This is a plan. How can ordinary people understand it? Now let Li Xiaoluo be happy first. Only by doing this can we paralyze Li Xiaoluo and make Li Xiaoluo relax his vigilance. Wang Heifeng looked at Li Xiaoluo and said expressionlessly, "Li Xiaoluo, since we have reached an agreement, is it okay if I talk to my wife again? Otherwise, I'm afraid my wife will not be willing to do it." Li Xialuo glanced at Wang Haifeng with admiring eyes, which seemed to mean, Mr. Wang, you are more reliable. Wang Haifeng ignored Li Xiaoluo's eyes. He walked to Sun Qianqian and whispered in Sun Qianqian's ear, wife, listen to me, son. Qianqian turned her head away, not wanting to pay attention to Wang Haifeng at all. This man even thought about Li Xiaoluo wearing a small umbrella. He really thought about it for her and didn't let her get hurt, but what Wang Haifeng did was the biggest insult to Sun Qianqian. She has no dignity. Honey, please listen to me quickly. I have a plan and I don't really want you to accompany Li Xiaoluo. Wang Haifeng spoke in a very low voice, and he didn't dare let Li Xiaoluo hear it. Hearing Wang Haifeng say this, although Sun Qianqian felt very uncomfortable, she almost wanted to completely sever ties with Wang Haifeng, but they were a couple after all, so she decided to listen to Wang Haifeng's explanation first and see if there was really any solution. Seeing that Sun Qianqian's face was not so ugly and she was willing to listen to his explanation, Wang Haifeng breathed a sigh of relief. After all, his wife is the key figure in the subsequent plan. Whether he can really resolve the crisis and turn defeat into victory depends entirely on his wife Sun Qianqian. Honey, you and Li Xiaoluo will have some fun with you later. With your beauty and charm, he will definitely be fascinated by you. Then, you mentioned that you were nervous and scared. You said you wanted to drink some wine to relieve your mood. Don't we have a lot of wine at home? In the third compartment of the wine cabinet, there is an expensive bottle of Lafite. You gave me that bottle of red wine. He drinks it, but you'd better not drink it yourself. Even if you drink it, you can only drink a little bit. Don't worry, as long as you do what I say, you definitely won't have to sleep with him. Believe me, your husband, no one can deal with me. Hearing Wang Haifeng's words, Sun Qianqian was stunned for a moment and whispered, husband, that bottle of red wine, don't say too much, don't be loud, just understand in your heart. Wang Haifeng looked at Sun Qianqian with an expression that said you understand. It's not like Sun Qianqian doesn't know how to be silly and sweet, especially when she is married to a second-generation person like Wang Haifeng, so there must be something special in the bottle of red wine Wang Haifeng mentioned, such as intoxicants, estrus drugs, etc. But Sun Qianqian never thought that Wang Haifeng would hide such a thing at home. What does he want to do? If there is no Li Xiaoluo, who is he going to use that bottle of wine on? However, Wang Haifeng did not wait for Sun Qianqian to think too much, and then warned, honey, remember, after Li Xiaoluo drinks and falls asleep, you must quickly find the key to the handcuffs from Li Xiaoluo. As long as I can unlock the handcuffs and get the weapons, we won't have to be afraid of Li Xiaoluo or the thugs outside the door. So, wife, you must behave well, and then you have to deal with Li Xiaoluo. Otherwise, I'm afraid Li Xiaoluo will not keep his word, and after he has played with you, he will also play with you to those men outside. Originally, Sun Qianqian was increasingly disappointed with Wang Haifeng, but after hearing Wang Haifeng's last few words, Sun Qianqian's face changed again. I sighed in my heart. Sun Qianqian decided to listen to Wang Haifeng and do what Wang Haifeng said, because although she was disappointed with Wang Haifeng, she was even less familiar with Li Xiaoluo, and she was really afraid that Li Xiaoluo would give her to a man outside the door to play with her. After all, although Li Xiaoluo promised the couple that he would not give her to other men to play with. But can you trust bad people? If Wang Haifeng really had a way to deal with Li Xiaoluo and let them live their old lives again, then Sun Qianqian would still choose to follow Wang Haifeng. After all, she and Wang Haifeng are still husband and wife. No matter how bad things are, they should still be better than other men. So after Wang Haifeng finished talking about his plan, Sun Qianqian nodded and said she understood. Wang Haifeng was immediately overjoyed. His wife was usually pretty and quite smart, so she could definitely handle Li Xiaoluo. As long as Li Xiaoluo falls into the trap, it will be Li Xiaoluo's death. Honey, if you want to blame you this time, blame me. It was all my words without thinking. It was indeed me who said I would send you out, so please, just help me once and accompany my old classmate once. After all, we can't keep our words. After this time, I will definitely make it up to you in the future. Wang Haifeng suddenly spoke loudly. He was telling Li Xiaoluo on purpose. Sun Qianqian naturally knew that, so she also cooperated with Wang Haifeng and said, stop talking, it's all your BD's fault. I've warned you many times, don't be so high profile, but you just don't listen. Now it's like this. But we are husband and wife, so I am also responsible for what you do. I know what to do about this incident. But after this incident, we severed the relationship as husband and wife and have no further relations. Wang Haifeng thought Sun Kaianqian was acting on purpose, and immediately cooperated, with a look of shame and annoyance. Honey, I'm sorry, I really hurt you this time. I promise you, we will break off the relationship as husband and wife after this incident. Li Xialuo watched Wang Haifeng and Sun Kaianqian's acting with a mysterious smile on his face. If it were an ordinary person, he would really not be able to hear the whispered conversation between Wang Haifeng and Sun Kaianqian. Although Wang Haifeng and Sun Kaianqian were talking quietly like that, which might make Li Xiaoluo huizhen, but as long as Li Xiaoluo didn't hear their conversation, then Li Xiaoluo might really capsize in the gutter. However, not to mention that after Li Xiaoluo strengthened his body, his hearing also improved a lot, so Li Xiaoluo actually heard the conversation between Wang Haifeng and Sun Kaianqian, and just in case, Li Xiaoluo's stealth drone is always monitoring, so as long as Sun Kaianqian can hear it, Li Xiaoluo can hear it. It's just that Li Xiaoluo didn't expose the two of them. After all, Li Xiaoluo has already reached this stage. He still wants to continue to play with Wang Haifeng and humiliate him, so since Wang Haifeng has a plan, he should continue to play with Wang Haifeng and let him implement the plan. When the time comes, it will be interesting to see Wang Haifeng lose his wife and lose his troops. Chapter 238. Not bad. This red wine looks very high-end at first glance. Okay, now that you have communicated well, let's start early. Li Xiaoluo looked at the beautiful Sun Kaianqian. With her plump figure, big breasts and big butt, she was Li Xiaoluo's favorite type, and at first glance, he is also the type to have children. This BD Wang Haifeng is quite good at choosing a wife, and he is quite lucky, but I don't know why he doesn't have children yet. Sun Kaianqian felt Li Xiaoluo's fiery eyes. Although she was a little nervous, she still nodded. There is no other way, even if you don't agree, just hope everything goes well with the plan. Li Xiaoluo took out another pair of handcuffs from his body, then walked over and put another pair of handcuffs on Wang Haifeng's hands. Of course, the other end of this pair of handcuffs was handcuffed to the coffee table, so that Wang Haifeng could not move at will and could only stay where you are. Young Master Wang, I want to offend you for a moment. Do you have any objection? Of course, no objection. Wang Haifeng's heart was filled with hatred. You BD have already done it, and now you are asking for your opinion in a pretentious manner. He is simply even more hateful than his previous self, but he must endure now. Isn't it just an extra pair of handcuffs? Anyway, even if he didn't have an extra pair of handcuffs, he couldn't do much after being handcuffed before. Now it's just that the freedom of movement is restricted again, so it doesn't matter. As long as his wife can move smoothly, he will be able to stand up by then. At that time, he must use the most cruel method to humiliate and torture Li Xiaoluo. So now, he must endure everything. Li Xiaoluo smiled at Wang Haifeng, then looked at Sun Kaianqian aside. MRS. Wang, let's go to the room. You don't just want to be in the living room in front of Mr. Wang, do you? That won't work. I will be shy. Li Xiaoluo is actually not shy, but he knows that Sun Kaianqian will definitely not be willing to do this. He just said this on purpose to stimulate Wang Haifeng and Sun Kaianqian. Sure enough, when Wang Haifeng heard what Li Xiaoluo said, his face turned red with anger. Sun Kaianqian's face was also blushing, and she looked even more beautiful. Sun Kaianqian waved her hand quickly. I'll take you to the bedroom. Sun Kaianqian led the way and then walked towards the guest room. Originally, Li Xiaoluo wanted to go to the master bedroom upstairs. After all, Li Xiaoluo had heard when he was studying that Wang Haifeng liked to sleep on the client's bed the most, so today I have the opportunity to let Wang Haifeng experience it. However, because it is troublesome to go upstairs, and Wang Haifeng will not be able to hear the sound by then, young Master Wang may also lose a lot of fun, so Li Xiaoluo does not have to go upstairs. After Sun Kaianqian and Li Xiaoluo entered the room, Sun Kaianqian's head went blank nervously, until Li Xiaoluo put his arms around her waist. Feeling the breath of Li Xiaoluo, Sun Kaianqian's beautiful face became even more charming. In Li Xiaoluo's view, Sun Kaianqian was really radiant at this time, especially because of her sight. From his perspective, her career line was really unfathomable. Sun Kaianqian did not expect that Li Xiaoluo would be so impatient. This was not her plan. No, it must be according to the plan, so Sun Kaianqian, who was being held by Li Xiaoluo, took the initiative to put her hands around Li Xiaoluo's neck. With a charming look on her face, Li, don't be so anxious. Let's have some wine first. Relax our mood, and add a little atmosphere, okay? Question mark. That way we will all be happier, Lee. Xialuo kissed Sun Kaianqian's fair and tender face directly. Okay, you rich people will enjoy it, so let's drink some wine first to cheer up. After being kissed directly by Li Xiaoluo, Sun Kaianqian was stunned for a moment, then his face turned redder, and he seemed to feel a sense of shame, but since she wants to confuse Li Xiaoluo, Sun Kaianqian will naturally not say anything. Isn't it just a hug and a kiss? As long as you can keep your health in the end, it's worth it. Mr. Li, can I go get the wine and drink red wine? After being put down by Li Xiaoluo, Sun Kaianqian quickly tidied up her clothes that were somewhat exposed, and then looked at Li Xiaoluo with a sweet smile. Li Xiaoluo nodded. Okay, drinking red wine in this atmosphere is the best thing. By the way, we will be one of our own soon. Just call me Charlotte. I keep calling me Mr. Li. Isn't it too alienating, Sun Kaianqian blushed and nodded, whispering, I understand, Charlotte. Li Xiaoluo laughed and seemed very happy, and Wang Haifeng in the living room can naturally hear Li Xiaoluo's laughter. At this time, Wang Haifeng was leaning obediently on the coffee table in the living room, with his head lowered, but his eyes were really about to spit out fire. Adulterer and adulterer, especially you, Sun Kaianqian, should it be enough for you to stun Li Xiaoluo? Are you trying to be funny now? That BD Sun Kaianqian and Li Xiaoluo laughed so happily and screamed so affectionately that he was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Be patient, you must be patient. Now he still has to rely on Sun Kaianqian to give him freedom and lead him to make a comeback, so Wang Haifeng pretended not to hear anything. Let alone scolded Sun Kaianqian. Otherwise, if Sun Kaianqian does not act according to his plan, then there is nothing he can do to Li Xiaoluo, so in order to humiliate Li Xiaoluo later, he must hold back now. As the saying goes, a little impatience can ruin a big plan. On Li Xiaoluo's side of the room, Sun Kaianqian had already brought a bottle of red wine and 2 wine glasses, and then the two of them sat on the stools. Li Xiaoluo looked at the red wine that Sun Kaianqian brought, and his eyes shone. Not bad. This red wine looks very high-end at first glance. It must be a good wine. I really got the glory of Mr. Wang today. In fact, Li Xiaoluo did it on purpose. He didn't want too much high-end white wine and red wine in his system space. It was enough for bathing. Sun Kaianqian thoughtfully poured a glass of wine for both Li Xiaoluo and herself. Then she raised the glass and raised it towards Li Xiaoluo and said, Charlotte, with this glass, I will first apologize to you for my husband's ignorance in the past. I hope you can forgive him once. Li Xiaoluo raised his wine glass and clinked it with Sun Kaianqian. Didn't I promise that I have forgotten the past? Why do I still mention it? Sun Kaianqian rolled her eyes at Li Xiaoluo. It would be weird if you forgot. If you really forgot, you wouldn't humiliate Wang Haifeng like this now. But Sun Kaianqian was sensible and didn't say much. Seeing Li Xiaoluo looking at her, he did not drink directly after clinking glasses. Sun Kaianqian was heartbroken, then put the wine glass to her lips and took a sip. Sun Kaianqian is telling Li Xiaoluo that the wine is fine. Sure enough, after seeing Sun Kaianqian drinking, Li Xiaoluo seemed to have a relieved look on his face. Then he raised his glass and drank all the wine in the glass in one sip. Seeing Li Xiaoluo drink up all the wine in the glass, Sun Kaianqian finally showed a sincere smile on her face, but soon, her face stiffened and her cheeks became rosier. Li Xiaoluo looked at Sun Kaianqian's smooth and straight legs, smiled and praised, What did you do before? These legs are really long and beautiful, and the skin is so smooth. Chapter 239 Why hasn't the medicine taken effect yet? Sun Kaianqian's face turned red with embarrassment, and she felt something strange in her heart, but she couldn't care about this at this time, but kept thinking about the time silently in her heart. Then he secretly observed Li Xiaoluo. Why haven't the effects of the medicine taken effect yet? She regretted a little. She should have asked clearly when the medicine would take effect before, but as long as Li Xiaoluo didn't faint, Sun Kaianqian didn't dare to resist Li Xiaoluo and could only let Li Xiaoluo take advantage of her. But fortunately, her husband Wang Haifeng couldn't see this outside, otherwise she wouldn't have the face to face him in the future. Maybe it's inherited in the family. My mother has very good skin and her legs are quite slender and good looking, Sun Kaianqian explained in a low voice the question Li Xiaoluo asked, and then quickly poured Li Xiaoluo another glass of wine. Charlotte, let me toast you again. I hope we can help each other in this apocalypse in the future. Li Xiaoluo raised his glass and looked at Sun Kaianqian with a strange expression. You don't want to get me drunk, do you, son? Kyankian's face froze, but she soon returned to normal, with a hint of grievance on her face. Charlotte, what are you talking about? This is red wine. I can't get drunk even as a woman. You can't be that bad at drinking, right? If that doesn't work, then I'll just drink this cup for you. Haha, how can a man say no? Xialuo laughed, and then drank all the wine in the glass in one gulp. Charlotte, you are so awesome. Sun Kyankian was happy, and then cheered for Charlotte in an exaggerated voice. Mainly, she has never served a man to drink, so she doesn't know how to behave coquettishly, but in Sun Kyankian's opinion, things should be settled soon, right? Xialuo had already drank 2 large glasses of wine, and so much time had passed, the effects of the medicine should take effect soon, right? So now she just needs to continue to be false and delay for time. Xialuo pulled Sun Kyankian into his arms. Drinking a little wine doesn't mean you are so powerful. I have something even more powerful. You will know later, son. Kyankian screamed in fright at Xialuo's sudden move, then realizing that she was a little too close to Xialuo now, Sun Kyankian quickly stood up from Xialuo's arms. Her beautiful face became even redder and more charming, but there was nothing Sun Kyankian could do about Xialuo's boldness, and Sun Kyankian, a beautiful young woman with such a shy appearance, is still very tempting. Even though she has seen many stunning Xialuo, she is a little excited at this time. Xialuo said loudly and deliberately with some displeasure, "Mrs. Wang, what's wrong? You just don't want to hug me. Do you want to regret it? If so, then I won't embarrass you, and I won't drink this wine either. I will open the door and leave your house now." Xialuo deliberately said the word "open the door" very strongly. Sun Kyankian still didn't understand what Xialuo meant. This was to remind her that if she didn't cooperate well, then he would let the men outside the door in. Wang Haifeng outside the door originally felt angry when he heard Xialuo said he hugged his wife, but when he heard Xialuo seemed angry, he even wanted to open the door of his house. Suddenly, there was only fear left in my heart. Now that he has come to this point, he has paid so much, you absolutely can't fall short. So Wang Haifeng hurriedly shouted into the room, "Honey, what's the matter with you? Since you agreed to accompany Xialuo once, don't be coy. It's just a hug. What's the big deal?" Originally, Sun Kyankian was held in Xialuo's arms just now, so she reacted so violently, partly because of shyness, and partly because I feel a little sorry for my husband. However, when she heard what Wang Haifeng said outside the door, Sun Kyankian didn't know whether to be angry or laugh, although she knew that her husband Wang Haifeng was reminding her that a little impatience would ruin a big plan. Before she stunned Xialuo, she could let Xialuo take advantage first. "But I am your wife, are you, Wang Haifeng, really so generous?" Of course, Sun Kyankian felt that Wang Haifeng was more afraid of death than selfish. Thinking of this, Sun Kyankian also broke her pot. Sun Kyankian said softly, "Charlotte, I'm sorry, I was just not used to it. I have never done anything like this before, so my reaction was a little big. I really didn't mean anything else. Please don't be angry, okay?" Feeling the softness and fullness of Sun Kyankian's body, and smelling her delicious body fragrance, Xialuo's mood seemed to have changed from gloomy to sunny. "But in order to express my dissatisfaction just now," Sun Kyankian's face was rosy, but after Xialuo's outburst just now, Sun Kyankian did not dare to resist Xialuo's behavior. Moreover, her husband is also on Xialuo's side. What else can she do? "Charlotte, let's have another drink." Sun Kyankian could only find a way to delay the time, so she poured another glass of wine for Charlotte Li. She didn't know why the drug didn't take effect for so long after Xialuo drank. If it still doesn't work, she feels like she can't hold on any longer. "Okay, let's have one last drink. After that, let's get down to business. Otherwise, we were just a deal, but now it's like a storm. I feel a little sorry for young Master Wang." Sun Kyankian gouged out Xialuo. This BD, she really got an advantage and still made her husband angry to death. Xialuo picked up the wine glass and drank the red wine in one gulp. Then, Xialuo met Sun Kyankian's eager eyes. Of course, Xialuo naturally knew that Sun Kyankian's eagerness was not just for Xialuo to take her to bed and then press her hard on her. Sun Kyankian's eyes pointed to something else. However, Sun Kyankian had no idea that Xialuo was well aware of the conspiracy between her and Wang Haifeng, so she would definitely not drink her red wine. The 3 glasses of red wine Li Xiaoluo drank were all his own in his system space, so it is basically impossible for Sun Kaianqian to see Li Xiaoluo faint, but since you're acting, let's just do the whole thing. Li Xiaoluo saw Sun Kaianqian's earnest eyes and was thinking about cooperating with her. He would faint first and then see what she would do. However, after thinking about it, Li Xiaoluo decided to change his approach. Why do I feel a little pain in my stomach? After putting down the wine glass, Li Xiaoluo suddenly covered his stomach and lowered his head as if in pain. Sun Kaianqian was stunned for a moment. Is this the effect of the medicine taking effect? But will taking drugs cause stomach pain? However, when Li Xiaoluo raised his head, there was a touch of red at the corner of Li Xiaoluo's mouth, like blood flowing from his face. You actually poisoned the wine. Li Xiaoluo stretched out his hand and pointed at Sun Kaianqian tremblingly, as if in disbelief. Chapter 240 How could it be poison? Seeing Li Xiaoluo's appearance, Sun Kaianqian was immediately frightened. How could it be poison? How could there be poison in wine? Wang Heifang clearly said that he was addicted to drugs. Otherwise, why would you let her drink a little? As long as she doesn't drink too much, he is not afraid of poisoning himself to death. And for Li Xiaoluo, Sun Kaianqian didn't want to kill anyone. After all, we can know from Li Xiaoluo's words that her husband bullied others when she was a student, and now others come to take revenge. There is nothing wrong with her. Moreover, today's incident was also caused by his husband's own arrogance, saying that as long as someone entered their home, he would send his wife to him personally. Li Xiaoluo did not beat or scold the couple. She felt that Li Xiaoluo was not a bad person. I'm sorry, I really didn't know it was poison. Wang Heifang told me that he was drugged, so I gave it to you. We just want to protect ourselves. Seeing Li Xiaoluo staring at her, Sun Kaianqian looked sorry. Then Sun Kaianqian comforted Li Xiaoluo and said, "Don't be afraid, you have to hold on. I will ask my husband now. If it is really poison, he will definitely have an antidote. Otherwise, if I drank too, I would damn it." After saying that, Sun Kaianqian wanted to get up and go out. However, Li Xiaoluo grabbed Sun Kaianqian and said, "Why, you want to leave? Where can such a good thing happen?" Sun Kaianqian said anxiously, "Let me go quickly. I'm going to ask my husband if there is poison in the wine. HMPH, no matter what is in the wine, you have no good intentions and want to harm me. If the wine is really poison, Wang Heifang will definitely not give me the antidote. I will die anyway, so I must give it to Wang Heifang before I die. Put on your hat and earn back the interest." Having said that, "You lied to me. Are you okay? You weren't poisoned." After being directly picked up by Li Xiaoluo and thrown onto the bed, Sun Kaianqian was not afraid at first, but she immediately exposed Li Xiaoluo's acting. After all, Li Xiaoluo was vomiting blood just now and looked like he was dying, but now he is full of life, and he doesn't look like he was poisoned, so Li Xiaoluo must have lied to her just now. This big liar. Li Xiaoluo was too lazy to act anymore. He looked at Sun Kaianqian and sneered, "Haha, what's your expression? Do you think I'm lying to you? Then are you lying to me? You admitted it just now. Your husband said that there was something in the drink. I'm addicted to drugs. If I don't act, will you take the initiative to tell me? And for me, it doesn't make any difference whether the wine is drugged or poisoned. Because as long as I really get tricked, there will definitely be no good ending. So you really think I'm stupid? After all this, are you in the mood to treat me to a drink? You're not really a bartender." Sun Kaianqian's face froze. It turned out that Li Xiaoluo had already guessed it. Then, she may really lose her virginity, but Sun Kaianqian seems not ready yet. "I'm sorry, we shouldn't have lied to you. Please let us go. I won't make such a deal anymore. Can I give you everything in my house as compensation?" Li Xiaoluo laughed loudly. "What do you think? I've said it before. I don't want your compensation. I only take what I deserve." After saying that, Li Xiaoluo also sat on the bed and looked at Sun Kaianqian meaningfully, but before Sun Kaianqian could continue to speak, because Li Xiaoluo's laughter just now was a bit loud, Wang Heifang also heard it in the living room, and according to the plan, shouldn't Li Xiaoluo have fainted by now? "Why are you still laughing?" Thinking of this, Wang Heifang suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. He didn't know what went wrong, but something must have gone wrong. Could it be that Li Xiaoluo discovered something, or maybe Sun Kaianqian betrayed herself? "Honey, are you still drinking? Did something happen?" Wang Heifeng's hands were handcuffed on the coffee table and it was difficult to move. He could only shout loudly into the bedroom, "Honey, come and save me." Seeing Li Xiaoluo getting closer and closer to her, Sun Qianqian could only helplessly ask Wang Heifeng in the living room for help. "Wang Heifeng is going crazy. Damn it, shouldn't you stun Li Xiaoluo and then come out with a key to save yourself? Now let yourself save her." "What can I do to save myself? How so? Isn't it just to let Li Xiaoluo drink some wine?" Wang Heifeng doesn't believe that Sun Qianqian can't do it. Thinking of this, thinking that there will soon be a green grassland above his head, Wang Heifeng, who had been patient and humiliated, finally broke out, "Sun Qianqian, what's going on? Didn't you give Li Xiaoluo a drink? What on earth are you doing? Did you do it on purpose? Did you, fall in love with Li Xiaoluo? Now that you see how good he is, you want to follow him?" In the room, Sun Qianqian, who was still expecting her husband to come in and save her, was greeted by Wang Heifeng's loud insults in the living room. Suddenly, Sun Qianqian's heart was as sharp as a knife, and then she gave up resistance completely. Soon, a sweet cry from Sun Qianqian came from the guest room. Wang Heifeng felt as if he was struck by lightning. He knew exactly what this sound was. "Li Xiaoluo, stop it, or I will kill you." "BD, Li Xiaoluo, I'll give you money, I'll give you food, I'll give you weapons, come out quickly." "Sun Qianqian, you dare to betray me and scream so loudly? I'm going to kill you." I don't know how long it took, but the door to the guest room finally opened, and Li Xiaoluo walked out of the room refreshed. Wang Heifeng was like a deflated rubber ball, paralyzed on the ground weakly. This Li Xiaoluo is not a human being, and it took so long for him to come out. Sun Qianqian's voice became hoarse, and Wang Heifeng's voice became hoarse too. But when I saw Li Xiaoluo coming out, I thought of the insult I had received. Wang Heifeng looked at Li Xiaoluo with anger again, and then wanted to rush towards Li Xiaoluo excitedly. I'm going to kill you. You dare to play with my wife?" However, Li Xiaoluo calmly walked to the sofa and sat down. Wang Heifeng had several pairs of handcuffs on his hands, and his coffee table was very strong, so Wang Heifeng couldn't get close to Li Xiaoluo. Li Xiaoluo looked at Wang Heifeng and shrugged. "Young Master Wang, it's meaningless for you to do this. Originally, I was going to open the door and leave, but you asked your wife to accompany me. And when your wife and I were in the room just now, you were still trying to persuade your wife not to be coy, so why are you turning your back on me now? Is it my fault again?" After a pause, Li Xiaoluo's face turned cold. "Speaking of which, you asked Sun Qianqian to give me a drink with good ingredients. Let's settle this account." Chapter 241. You are still so shameless. Wang Heifeng looked at Li Xiaoluo in disbelief, and said with great humiliation, "Li Xiaoluo, don't bully others too much. You just treated my wife for so long, and now you still want to settle a score with me. This BD is simply extremely shameless." Wang Heifeng kept cursing Li Xiaoluo in his heart, because Li Xiaoluo was even more shameless and despicable than he was before the end. Wang Heifeng feels that although he is a BD before the end, he also likes excitement and poaching others, but after all, he will have a better attitude after playing with other people's women, and he will not retaliate. Is this Li Xiaoluo still doing human affairs? Li Xiaoluo sat on the sofa for a while and had recovered a lot of energy he had consumed before. Hearing Wang Heifeng's anger, Li Xiaoluo got up and walked slowly to Wang Heifeng, and then looked down at Wang Heifeng. "Young Master Wang, please don't frame me falsely. Your wife is something you promised yourself, and you took the initiative to persuade your wife to accompany me. Did I force you before?" Being looked at condescendingly by Li Xiaoluo, although Wang Heifeng was still full of anger, he did not dare to refute again because he has no ability to resist now, and he still remembers the painful taste of the punch Li Xiaoluo gave him before, so no matter how angry he was, if he scolded him, the matter could not be undone. He didn't want to anger Li Xiaoluo anymore, because maybe Li Xiaoluo would have an excuse to deal with him. Then he has paid so much and endured the humiliation for so long, isn't it all in vain? He also lost his wife and lost his troops, so after seeing Li Xiaoluo really angry, Wang Heifeng calmed down and gave in. Now he just wants Li Xiaoluo to keep his promise and let him go, as long as he was free. He swore that one day, he would make Li Xiaoluo repay the torture he suffered today 100 times 1,000 times. Li Xiaoluo smiled and continued, "Young Master Wang, if you don't speak, it means that you have no objection to what I said. So everything between your wife and I is voluntary, and no one suffers. But it was obviously something everyone had agreed upon, but you secretly let your wife drug the wine in an attempt to murder me. Tell me, what's wrong with me now settling the score with you, Wang? Heifeng tried his best to control his emotions, and then put on a smiling expression and said, Li Xiaoluo, actually you have misunderstood. There are no poisons or drugs in my bottle of wine. It is a great tonic that can boost your mood. Look at you, you don't have anything to do now. You were so powerful just now, weren't you? Li Xiaoluo looked at Wang Heifeng. Young Master Wang, I haven't seen you for so many years, but you are still so shameless. I am just gifted. What does it have to do with your drinking? Do you think I will believe your nonsense, Wang? Heifeng shook his head and said, Li Xiaoluo, do you want to keep your words and make trouble for me now? You promised me 3 conditions before I let my wife accompany you. If you don't keep your word, I will never let you go even if I'm a ghost. Li Xiaoluo laughed, and then looked at Wang Heifeng with a strange smile. Okay, since you said so, Mr. Wang, then I won't kill you. Who said I am a person who keeps my promises? In fact, from the moment he met Wang Heifeng, Li Xiaoluo never thought of killing Wang Heifeng directly. After all, killing him directly will only give him an advantage and free him up, just like Su Xiu and the others in the past. If you kill them directly, how can you let them experience the feeling of the end of the world? Even Li Xiaoluo regretted killing Su Xiu directly last time. It was still too early. She should be kept and made to become the lowest status person in the territory, pouring shit out of all the women in the territory, and then work 16 hours a day. When she wasn't working, she was left alone in the small dark room, where she could only watch the people outside laughing and eating big fish and meat. But Su Xiu and the others are already dead, so all the talk is in vain. However, Li Xiaoluo did not expect that he would meet Wang Heifeng again. This is why Li Xiaoluo agreed so happily when he agreed to the conditions proposed by Wang Heifeng, because Li Xiaoluo really never thought about killing Wang Heifeng too quickly. Hearing Li Xiaoluo's words, Wang Heifeng rarely showed a smile on his face, as long as Li Xiaoluo kept his words. In this case, even if his red wine plan doesn't work and his wife loses money, he still has a chance to win. Li Xiaoluo walked over, took out the key to the handcuffs, and directly unlocked Wang Heifeng's handcuffs on the coffee table. Wang Heifeng was excited. The chance to gain freedom was right in front of him. In fact, Wang Heifeng's eyes have begun to peek at the weapon he can get his hands on the fastest. However, after Li Xiaoluo removed Wang Heifeng's handcuffs on the coffee table, he did not remove the handcuffs on his hands. Wang Heifeng's face suddenly darkened, but he still looked at Li Xiaoluo with a smile. Li Xiaoluo, why don't you take off all the handcuffs for me? What do you mean? Li Xiaoluo smiled slightly. Young Master Wang, among the 3 conditions I promised you before, I didn't say that I must remove all your handcuffs, right? As for what I mean, you will know soon. This can be regarded as a small punishment for trying to poison me in the wine. With that said, Li Xiaoluo directly lifted Wang Heifeng up regardless of his reaction. After quickly walking to the door, Li Xiaoluo opened the door and threw Wang Heifeng out. Outside the room, Liu Filong and several men were still guarding the door. After all, Li Xiaoluo personally told them to stay at the entrance and not go. They did not dare to disobey Li Xiaoluo's order for the time being. At this time, Liu Filong and the others were stunned for a moment when they saw Li Xiaoluo throwing someone out, but Liu Filong and the others are no strangers to this guy thrown out by Li Xiaoluo. They were neighbors before, and Wang Heifeng often showed off in front of them. Even when they attacked Wang Heifeng's house just now, Wang Heifeng not only refused to accept their cooperation proposal, but was also extremely arrogant and domineering, making them furious. I didn't expect that I would be repaid so quickly. Li Xiaoluo, what are you doing? You promised me the conditions. You can't keep your word. You can't be a shameless villain. Wang Heifeng, who was thrown heavily to the ground by Li Xiaoluo, wailed in pain for a few words and then ignored the pain in his body because now he is more psychologically afraid. Chapter 242. Did I give you face too? After all, Wang Heifeng knew that he had fallen into the hands of Li Xiaoluo, and Li Xiaoluo would still call him Mr. Wang. Although it was meant to be mocking, they knew each other after all, and Li Xiaoluo did not do anything too much to him, such as torturing him or something. But if he falls into the hands of people like Liu Filong outside the door, how will he end up? Well, Li Xiaoluo ignored Wang Heifeng's roar and fear. Li Xiaoluo looked at Liu Filong and others. Listen, you guys, you all performed well before, and I am quite satisfied, so now I will give you another task. As long as you complete it well, I will let you go." When Liu Filong and others heard this, joy suddenly appeared on their faces. They were still worried because they felt that even if they really captured Wang Heifeng's wife and presented her to Li Xiaoluo might not let them go. What's more, before they completed their mission, Li Xiaoluo himself entered Wang Heifeng's house first, so they didn't know how Li Xiaoluo would deal with them, and they were always worried. Originally, when Li Xiaoluo was doing business at Wang Heifeng's house, Liu Filong and the others thought of taking the opportunity to escape, but they sent someone to look through the window secretly. The speedboat driven by Li Xiaoluo disappeared and did not stop on the water downstairs. In this way, their idea of stealing Li Xiaoluo's speedboat and escaping was shattered. After all, if they didn't have a speedboat, if they just paddled the small raft they made to escape, they wouldn't be able to escape Li Xiaoluo's speedboat pursuit. So they had no choice but to guard the door for Li Xiaoluo honestly, and then wait for Li Xiaoluo's disposal. Fortunately, their bet was right. Li Xiaoluo really wanted to let them go. "Brother, what do you want us to do?" "I will definitely complete the task." "That's right, brother, just give the order." Liu Filong and the others naturally wanted to leave here and escape Li Xiaoluo's control, so they quickly expressed their attitudes one by one. Li Xiaoluo pointed at Wang Heifeng. "What I want you to do is very simple. My old classmate is not trustworthy. He has promised a fair deal, but he wants to poison me in the wine. You just need to deal with him for me." "Got it. I also heard the previous conversation between you and Wang Heifeng. It seems that you also want to deal with him, such as castrating him or something, so you can just do whatever you want." Upon hearing Li Xiaoluo's words, even the fool understood what Li Xiaoluo meant. Liu Filong hurriedly said, "Brother, don't worry. What I despise the most are people who engage in dirty tricks. I will definitely take care of this guy." Moreover, Liu Filong was very angry with Wang Heifeng before, so Li Xiaoluo asked him to deal with Wang Heifeng. This was not to ask him to do anything, but to let him vent his anger. Therefore, Liu Filong is naturally willing to do it, but Wang Heifeng was really frightened. "Now that my wife has been played by Li Xiaoluo, it doesn't matter anymore. If she really falls into the hands of Liu Filong and the others, and then turns herself into a eunuch, then how will he play with women in the future? Then he will simply be worse off than dead." "Old classmate, brother Xialuo, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I admit that I asked my wife to drug you in the wine you drank. I am not a human being, and the things I did when I was studying are not human either. I apologize to you. Please repent and please spare me this time." Seeing that Li Xiaoluo was indifferent, Liu Filong and others were already walking towards him. Wang Heifeng knelt on the ground with a plop. "Brother Xialuo, I am willing to compensate you for what I have done. Don't you have a crush on my wife? I will let her accompany you again. No, stay with you for a month. Please look at it. For the sake of my classmates, please spare me." Li Xiaoluo shook his head. "Young Master Wang, it's too late now." Liu Filong and the others had already approached Wang Heifeng. Wang Heifeng quickly stood up and waved his cuffed hands, trying to drive Liu Filong and the others away. However, Wang Heifeng was no match for him. He was firmly controlled by Liu Filong and the others in just a few strokes. No, Li Xiaoluo, UBD, we negotiated terms before, you can't keep your word." "Everyone, Li Xiaoluo is a BD, he didn't keep his word after he played with my wife. You guys can help now. He said he would let you go, but he will definitely go back on his word when the time comes." Wang Heifeng's words immediately stunned Liu Filong and others, and the movements of their hands also stopped. That seems to be the case indeed. If Li Xiaoluo doesn't keep his word, they may still be dead. Li Xiaoluo looked at the crazy Wang Heifeng and decided to kill him again. Li Xiaoluo looked at Wang Heifeng. "Young Master Wang, tell me why I can't keep my words." Wang Heifeng quickly said, "Li Xiaoluo, I said before that as long as someone enters my house, I will send my wife to their bed. Do you think I have kept my promise?" Li Xiaoluo nodded. "Not bad. You, Mr. Wang, have indeed kept your promise." Wang Heifeng suppressed his anger, and then said, "But I also made 3 requests to you. Did you agree to me at that time?" Li Xiaoluo nodded again. "I agreed to all 3 conditions you mentioned, and I did it." Wang Heifeng roared angrily. "Li Xiaoluo, you fart. Now you want someone to castrate me, and you still did it." Li Xiaoluo smiled slightly. "Young Master Wang, let's talk about your 3 previous requests. First, You said that if you fulfill your promise, you can't let these men outside touch your wife again. I will definitely do this. I won't let them touch your wife. After all, I'm not done yet. That's enough, your wife is indeed a stunner. Second, you said we can't occupy your home, live in your home, and we can't kill you. I can do this too. I won't occupy your home, kill you, or castrate you. Doesn't it count as killing? Third, when your wife and I are having sex, we must bring a small umbrella. When Sun Kyankian wakes up, you can ask her about this. I really use it, Wang. Heifeng looked at Li Xiaoluo dumbfounded. He always thought that he was shameless and a rogue, but he never thought that Li Xiaoluo was even more shameless than him. This is like signing a contract before the end of the world. As long as you want to find loopholes, you will definitely find loopholes, Li Xiaoluo added. Besides, I did agree to your 3 conditions. But later you drugged my wine and tried to harm me. Even if I don't keep my promise, what can you do, Wang? Heifeng was immediately speechless and didn't know how to refute. Wang Heifeng stopped talking, and Li Xiaoluo looked at Liu Filong and the others again. How? Many of you think Wang Heifeng's words make sense? Are you afraid that I won't keep my words? Haha, am I giving you face too? To make you feel that you have the ability to bargain with me. After saying that, Li Xiaoluo had an extra pistol in his hand. Chapter 243 Murder and Heartbreaking. Bang, bang. Li Xiaoluo didn't give Liu Filong and the others any time to react, nor did he give them a chance to explain. He immediately pulled the trigger. With a sound of 2 gunshots, Liu Filong's third son and another man fell into a pool of blood. After Li Xiaoluo shot, Liu Filong originally thought he was dead. I had already closed my eyes in despair, but it took a while after the 2 gunshots. There was no more gunfire, there was no pain in his body, so Liu Filong quickly opened his eyes, but he saw that Li Xiaoluo had put away his pistol and was looking at him with a smile on his face. Plop! Liu Filong knelt down directly towards Li Xiaoluo without any pressure. Brother, I deserve to die. I shouldn't have listened to this Wang Heifeng sowing discord. I shouldn't have questioned your character. Brother, I shouldn't have had other thoughts in my heart. I shouldn't have. Stop, you're still alive. I don't want to hear you talk nonsense. Li Xiaoluo waved his hand, interrupting Liu Filong's expression of loyalty for the rest of his life. Liu Filong quickly said, Brother, I know, I will castrate that BD Wang Heifeng now. After Liu Filong finished speaking, he gritted his teeth and walked towards Wang Heifeng. He had an old grudge against Wang Heifeng, and just now all his men died because of Wang Heifeng's words. Even he himself had walked through the gate of hell once, so naturally his hatred for Wang Heifeng became even deeper. With his hands cuffed, Wang Heifeng was no match for Liu Filong. Soon Wang Heifeng was stripped naked by Liu Filong. Wang Heifeng was originally a pretty boy, but his face was very pale due to kidney deficiency, but now, he was so frightened that his face could only be described as pale. He is the proud son of heaven, but he was born with a golden key in his mouth, and he is destined to be a nobleman all his life. Even if he were beaten to death, he would not have thought that one day he would experience such a battle. Li Xiaoluo, I really know that I was wrong. Please help me quickly. Just help me once. Li Xiaoluo took something out of his pocket and threw a bottle of medicine in front of Wang Heifeng. Don't worry, as an old classmate, I will naturally help you if I can. This is a hemostatic medicine. Remember to use it when the time comes. Murder and heart-wrenching. Li Xiaoluo is definitely angry at Wang Heifeng to death. Wang Heifeng also understood at this time that Li Xiaoluo would never let him go. At this time, the thing that Wang Heifeng regrets the most is that he took advantage of so many people before the end. But why did he just beat up Li Xiaoluo with a BCH? Otherwise, he would definitely feel more balanced at this time. A scream sounded. Liu Filong resolutely followed Li Xiaoluo's words and even applied the hemostatic medicine to Wang Heifeng himself. He is a very particular person. Old Liu, do you mind helping me a little bit more? Looking at Liu Filong, who was covered in blood, Li Xiaoluo said very kindly. Lao Liu, hearing Li Xiaoluo address him, Liu Filong was immediately flattered. Brother, tell me, I will do whatever you ask me to do. I will never hesitate. The death of the last 2 men made Liu Filong feel that Li Xiaoluo was right. They were not qualified to negotiate terms with Li Xiaoluo. Even if Li Xiaoluo really doesn't keep his word and burns bridges across rivers, what else can he do besides accepting his fate? So while Li Xiaoluo hasn't turned his back yet, he can only behave like a dog, and maybe Li Xiaoluo will let him go. Li Xialuo said, "Old Liu, the favor I asked you to do is very simple. That is to go downstairs and help me bring the food and women you contributed to this building. If you want to leave then, I will definitely not blocked." Liu Filong quickly responded, "Brother, there's no problem, I'll take care of it." For the sake of freedom, Liu Filong worked very quickly. It didn't take long before he arrived in front of Li Xiaoluo with the 3 women and food they dedicated to Li Xiaoluo. "Brother, the women and food on the raft are all here. Take a look." In fact, when he went downstairs just now, Liu Filong almost wanted to take a few women and food and escape on a raft. As long as he can escape, these women and food will allow him to live the life of the native emperor again. But at the last moment, he still held back his thoughts. The main reason is that the speed of the raft is too slow. If he can have a small fishing boat that heats oil, he will try his best, and that Li Xiaoluo is really evil. He still hasn't figured out how Li Xiaoluo got into Wang Heifeng's house. In addition, the speedboat that Li Xiaoluo drove over is not downstairs for some reason. Therefore, Li Xiaoluo is so mysterious that Liu Filong has no idea at all. Even though he might have had a chance to be free when he went downstairs just now, he still gave up in the end. Not bad, pretty fast. Naturally, Li Xiaoluo was too lazy to take a detailed inventory of the supplies Liu Filong brought up, and nodded to express that he had done a good job. Liu Filong hesitated for a moment, then mustered up the courage to say, "Brother, as long as you are satisfied, and thank you for letting me go, then, can I leave?" "Don't worry, I will definitely leave after I leave here. It is far away, will never pose a threat to you, and will never appear in front of you again." Li Xiaoluo glanced at Liu Filong. "Old Liu, you are still too naive, too. With weeds, we must remove the roots, otherwise sooner or later we will be in trouble again. You have been the leader for a while after all, don't say you don't know, and what goes far away and will never appear in front of you again." Li Xiaoluo can guarantee that whenever Liu Filong thinks he has the strength, the first thing he will do is come to Li Xiaoluo for revenge. Although Li Xiaoluo is not afraid that little people like Liu Filong will come to him in the future, Li Xiaoluo will not cause trouble for himself. It is better to strangle him in the cradle, so Liu Filong must die. Moreover, Li Xiaoluo had already thought of a way to die for him. Li Xiaoluo promised to let him leave here. Li Xiaoluo himself is actually a person who keeps his promises, so Li Xiaoluo doesn't plan to kill him here. But just because you let him go, doesn't mean you can't kill him somewhere else. Let me know if this is true. When Liu Filong leaves here on the raft, Li Xiaoluo will also leave, so just kill him along the way. After all, Liu Filong can never paddle a raft faster than Li Xiaoluo's speedboat. However, what neither Liu Filong nor Li Xiaoluo noticed was that the eyes of the 3 women who came up with Liu Filong no longer had the numbness in their eyes. When they looked at Li Xiaoluo, their eyes were full of magic and hope. Plop! The 3 women all knelt down towards Li Xiaoluo. "This gentleman, Liu Filong, is a devil and a villain. He must be lying to you now. He will definitely come to you for revenge in the future. You kill him. As long as you kill him, we will do anything in the future. I will listen to you, even if I am your slave. I will never change my mind." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244. You resolve your grievances yourself. The performance of the 3 women made both Li Xiaoluo and Liu Filong stunned at the same time. Initially, neither of them cared about these women because they were always timid and had no eyes. They were just transparent people, especially Liu Filong. He never took these women seriously. After all, he and his brothers used to share it, so naturally it is just like clothes. But he didn't expect that these 3 women would suddenly do this. Did they want him to die? They be. Who gave them the courage? Liu Filong was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. I really want to rush forward and use all the methods of torturing these women in the past on them. In fact, Liu Filong didn't know why these 3 women were like this. It's all because of Charlotte Li. Wang Heifeng and Liu Filong have been struggling with one thing before, that is, until now, they still can't figure out how Li Xiaoluo suddenly entered Wang Heifeng's house, but Liu Filong and the others couldn't figure it out. But the 3 women knew it, because when they were downstairs before, they saw with their own eyes that Li Xiaoluo first made the speedboat disappear. And then the person suddenly disappeared. Li Xiaoluo did not avoid them intentionally. After all, in a short time, the superpower will no longer be a secret. Besides killing them, there is actually no way to avoid them, so they know that Xialuo is not an ordinary person. Now seeing Xialuo again, the three women are very excited, because they are determined, they want revenge, and the mysterious Xialuo is their last hope. Even if they really made a wrong bet, how much worse could they get? Brother, don't listen to the nonsense of these B. They are just B who only want to sow discord and want us men to kill each other, so that they can reap the benefits. After gritting his teeth, Liu Filong quickly looked at Xialuo and said, if it weren't for the fear that Xialuo would be angry, he would have wanted to strangle these three women to death. Anyway, he was tired of playing with them, and they wouldn't be his anymore, but he was afraid that if he really did this, Xialuo would say that he killed someone out of anger and then silenced him, which would be an excuse to deal with him. Xialuo looked at Liu Filong and smiled. Let us kill each other? Are they reaping the benefits? What the hell? Do you think I am so easy to deceive? And are you qualified to be my opponent? If it weren't for me, I said I would let you go, and killing you would be as easy as squeezing an ant to death. Yes, yes, brother, you are a god. You are invincible. If you want to kill me, it is really as easy as squeezing an ant to death. So these B are just talking nonsense. I will never look for you again, brother. Trouble, I wouldn't even have such an idea. Liu Filong had a smile on his face. Although Xialuo's words were extremely insulting to him, he could only continue to endure the humiliation. He would lick whatever Xialuo said, until Xialuo let him go. However, Xialuo's words made the three women look disappointed. They originally bet that Charlotte Li was a Superman, that he might be a hero like the Superman in the movie, and that he would uphold justice for ordinary people. Now it seems that they made a wrong bet. In this doomsday, no one may care about the feelings of these women, but just when Liu Filong felt relieved and the three women gave up, Xialuo suddenly changed the subject. But since you have a grudge, let's just settle it now, so that you won't worry about it again in the future, and so that you won't be involved in anything in the future. 4. Xialuo, the result he wants is that Liu Filong dies. As for how Liu Filong died, whether he was killed by Xialuo himself or by these women, it doesn't matter. So Xialuo's original plan was to wait for Liu Filong to leave here before killing him, but now that these three women have taken the initiative to stand up, Xialuo naturally doesn't mind changing his plan to satisfy them. Speaking of which, Xialuo did this kind of thing a lot in the past. Sure enough, when Liu Filong heard what Xialuo said, his expression changed for a while. Brother, what do you mean? Did you agree to let me go, Li? Xialuo waved his hand. Old Liu, don't be anxious, I said I would let you go. But there is no reason for me to get involved in the grudges between these women and you. They don't want to let you go. I can't do it for you. Kill them, Liu. Filong has been furious for a while, and now he can finally understand Wang Haifeng's mood. Xialuo, this BD, is just playing word games for them, thinking of ways to not let them go. But at this moment, all the right to speak is in Xialuo's hands. Xialuo is both a policeman and a judge. He has the final say in everything and all the power of interpretation is in his hands. How can they get away with it? If Liu Filong dares to protest, then Xialuo can directly sentence him to death. Therefore, all Liu Filong can do now is to find ways to deal with them. Brother, this is indeed a grudge between me and these women. Let us resolve it ourselves. Do you think that's okay? As long as Xialuo didn't attack him personally, he would be nothing more than 3 weak women, and Liu Filong didn't take him seriously at all. At worst, before I leave, I will have 3 more lives on my hands. It just so happened that he didn't want the woman he had played with to stay with Xialuo for an advantage. Xialuo glanced at Liu Filong. Of course I won't take action against your grudges. Then, Xialuo looked at the 3 women. How about it? Since you want to kill Liu Filong, I will give you a chance now. Do you have the courage? The 3 women who were watched by Xialuo showed despair on their faces. They actually wanted to kill Liu Filong with their own hands, but they had been tortured and abused by men like Liu Filong for so long, and they didn't have enough to eat every day. How could they deal with Liu Filong? Such a strong man. What Xialuo did was not to give them a chance to take revenge, but to give Liu Filong a chance to kill them. How could they not despair? But before the 3 women could answer, Xialuo suddenly had a crossbow in his hand, and it was equipped with arrows, so he could shoot it directly. Of course, I am a very fair person. Since Liu Filong has a weapon, I will also provide each of you with a weapon to ensure that you can have a fair duel, sir. We have the courage. The faces of the three women suddenly showed great excitement. If I had told you earlier, if this was the case, then they would definitely have the courage to fight Liu Filong. Brother, isn't it a bit too bad for you to do this? Liu Filong was confused by Li Xiaoluo's actions, and why did Li Xiaoluo suddenly transform into a crossbow? But Li Xiaoluo didn't answer him, because after the three women got the crossbows, they fired directly at Liu Filong. Chapter 245 Arrangements for Women. Liu Filong was shot directly into a hedgehog and could not die anymore. After all, within a short distance indoors, the lethality of the crossbow is still very high, and Liu Filong has no place to hide. Looking at the dead Liu Filong and the three women who killed him with their own hands, their faces showed great excitement. None of them thought that one day they would be able to take revenge with their own hands. This would relieve their anger much more than Li Xiaoluo's revenge. Sir, thank you, we will be yours from now on, and we will do whatever you ask us to do. After killing Liu Filong, several women knelt down in front of Li Xiaoluo, with extremely pious expressions on their faces. Li Xiaoluo took a look and realized that these women were not just pretending, because their friendliness had basically reached over 70. She must be really grateful to Li Xiaoluo. In fact, the three women are very friendly to Li Xiaoluo. In addition to being grateful to Li Xiaoluo for allowing them to take revenge, the other thing is that Li Xiaoluo is not an ordinary person, so they are very devoted to Li Xiaoluo. They all want to perform well in front of Li Xiaoluo. It would be great if they could follow Li Xiaoluo. Since the end of the world, they have been living in bullying and fear from men. Even if those thugs are killed now, even if Li Xiaoluo gives them freedom now, they will not be happy, let alone feel safe. Only by following Li Xiaoluo can they have a real sense of security. However, among these women, there is no one with supernatural talents, so Li Xiaoluo is not too fond of them. If it were in the past, if women like them, who were enslaved and tortured by men, were brought to Taoyuan territory, they could serve as negative teaching materials for the women in the territory, so that they could be prepared for danger in times of peace and be aware of the situation outside in this way. Women in Taoyuan collar can now know the beauty of Taoyuan collar. However, there is no shortage of negative teaching materials for Taoyuan leaders, and they are basically women who have been tortured. So even though these three women are very friendly, they really want to follow Li Xiaoluo. But Li Xiaoluo has no intention of taking them back to Taoyuan. Let them stay here, and be with Sun Kaianqian by the way, and take care of each other. Li Xiaoluo is very satisfied with that beautiful young woman Sun Kaianqian. You can come over and have a look when you have nothing to do in the future. You all get up. It's not impossible for you to follow me in the future, but it depends on your own performance in the future. Li Xiaoluo waved his hand and asked the three women to stand up. The three women were very obedient and stood up quickly, then waited expectantly for Li Xiaoluo's next words. I can tell you frankly that I have my own territory, and there are many women in my territory. They all work for me, and I provide them with safety and food so that they don't have to be bullied by anyone. But after this apocalypse, there is no shortage of women who want to live, and there is no shortage of loyal women, so not just anyone can follow me. If you want to join my territory, you will need to behave well in the future. I decided to establish a stronghold here, and you have two tasks. First, the hostess in room 1308 is called Sun Kaianqian. She is my woman now. I don't want any other man to touch her, nor do I want to. She was hurt, so you guys watch her for me. Even her husband can't touch her or hurt her again. After hearing the first thing Li Xiaoluo asked them to do, the three women were stunned for a long time. They felt that the glorious and great image of Li Xiaoluo in their minds collapsed in an instant. What did they hear? Mr. Li Xiaoluo, who they consider to be a god, just wants to marry someone else's wife. Now he's even brazenly saying that the woman will be his from now on, and no other husband can touch her. This is simply a shame. I understand, sir. We will definitely take good care of Miss Sun Kaianqian in the future. Well, several women said that Li Xiaoluo was shameless and it had nothing to do with him. They just had to obey and do as he was told. They all want to live in the Taoyuan that Li Xiaoluo mentioned. The second thing is that your place will be called Stronghold Number 2 from now on. What you have to do in the future is to protect the safety of this stronghold and try to take in the women who pass by here. Remember, only women are taken in. Then, you should pay attention to whether there are any special situations happening nearby, such as a large fleet appearing nearby. I will leave you a military walkie-talkie. If you find any abnormality, you need to report it immediately. Notify me. In fact, Li Xiaoluo at base number 1, Huashan Hotel, also explained the second matter in the same way. The reason why Li Xiaoluo asked them to do this, such as taking in female survivors who were passing by, was not because Li Xiaoluo suddenly became kind-hearted. Li Xiaoluo did this just to let them search for more women for him. When Li Xiaoluo comes over, he can see if there are any women with supernatural talents. Isn't it just a waste of food? As long as a woman with supernatural talents can be found, it will be a big profit for Li Xiaoluo. Having these two strongholds to take in women for him saves Li Xiaoluo from having to search everywhere by himself. To take a step back, even if no woman with any supernatural talents is found by then, there must be some talents in other fields. If the Taoyuan leader needs to replenish its manpower at that time, it can be selected from these two strongholds. Moreover, if members of Taoyuan leader make mistakes in the future, they can also be sent to the stronghold. So Li Xiaoluo casually set up a stronghold near the Taoyuan territory on both sides, which actually had a lot of effect. As for the investment, it's actually not that big in the early stage. For example, at stronghold number 2, Liu Filong and the others donated a lot of food, and Wang Heifeng's family also had a lot of food. Li Xiaoluo said generously that he didn't want any of the food and would give it to them to develop this stronghold. However, the few bows and crossbows just given to them can be left to them, which will also give them a certain ability to protect themselves. In addition, Wang Heifeng's home was originally a safe house built with a lot of money, and it is indeed a good base. After confessing to the 3 women, and they were willing to obey Li Xiaoluo's arrangements, Li Xiaoluo planned to leave. Li Xiaoluo walked up to Wang Heifeng. Young Master Wang, I'm leaving. I promised you that I won't live in your house, and I will keep my word. After I leave, you have to take good care of your body. Wait, I will definitely take the time to come over to see you in a few days, and by the way, I will also see my sister-in-law, Wang. Heifeng originally leaned against the wall motionless with dead eyes, but after hearing Li Xiaoluo's words, Wang Heifeng suddenly became excited again. But when he got excited, he felt a sharp pain under his abdomen. Chapter 246 Sun Kaianqian with complicated mood. After saying goodbye to Wang Heifeng, an old classmate, Li Xiaoluo did not go to his home to see Sun Kaianqian or say goodbye to Sun Kaianqian. In fact, when Li Xiaoluo got out of bed, she knew that Sun Kaianqian had not fainted. She was just pretending to sleep. Didn't you say that you should never wake up someone who is pretending to be asleep? Since Sun Kaianqian did it on purpose, Li Xiaoluo will not embarrass her for the time being. After all, as the saying goes, the days ahead are long. There is another saying that is also good. Once something is new, then something is familiar. Maybe Sun Kaianqian will not be shy next time. This is the first time, so you still have to give others time to adapt, right? Li Xiaoluo came to the raft downstairs. And then with a thought, he released the speedboat in the system space. After getting on the speedboat, Li Xiaoluo started up and drove the speedboat towards Longting Villa. However, Li Xiaoluo's speedboat had just driven less than 100 meters away when a notification sound suddenly came from the system. Prompt: Sun Kaianqian has feelings of reluctance towards the host. Her friendliness is +10, and her current friendliness towards the host is 78. Li Xiaoluo, who was driving the speedboat, was stunned for a moment, and then couldn't help but reveal a meaningful smile. It's really interesting. In fact, when Li Xiaoluo and Sun Kaianqian applauded for love before, Sun Kaianqian's friendliness was just like her mood, which was extremely unstable, high and low. When it was high, it was over 80, but after everything calmed down, her friendliness dropped to below 70. Maybe the beautiful young woman still feels sorry for her husband. However, I didn't expect that just after I left, her friendliness increased again, and I still can't bear to leave myself. It seems that I really have to take the time to come over to express my condolences next time. Li Xiaoluo promises not to take revenge on Wang Heifeng, just my condolences. After Li Xiaoluo left in the speedboat, Sun Kaianqian also looked away from the window, then got up and walked out of the guest room. In the living room, 3 women were sitting, as well as Sun Kaianqian's husband Wang Heifeng. Seeing Wang Heifeng, Sun Kaianqian felt very complicated. She didn't know how things turned out like this. She also cried and hated, but she didn't seem to know whom to hate. However, seeing Wang Heifeng's embarrassed look, Sun Kaianqian still subconsciously asked with concern, "Husband, are you okay?" Wang Heifeng recovered from despair, and then saw Sun Kaianqian, who seemed to be particularly radiant. Wang Haifeng suddenly yelled at Sun Kaianqian crazily. Sun Kaianqian, UBCH, you shameless ST, I want to kill you, I must kill you. Just put a hit on me, you still hurt me. I am neither a man nor a woman. I will make your life worse than death. As he spoke, Wang Haifeng rushed towards Sun Kaianqian crazily, with murderous intent in his eyes, as if he wanted to hit Sun Kaianqian to death. Sun Kaianqian stayed where she was. She was so filled with mixed feelings that she forgot to avoid it. At the critical moment, several other women in the living room rushed towards Wang Haifeng, and then knocked Wang Haifeng to the ground. Be honest with me and don't dare to hurt madam again, otherwise don't blame me for punishing you. Stop talking nonsense to him. Since he is not honest even with his hands cuffed, let's tie him up again. Okay, you hold him down and I'll tie him up. The three women worked hard and quickly tied up Wang Haifeng. In fact, Wang Haifeng's hands were handcuffed and he was still injured. Otherwise the three women might not be able to control a grown man like him. Let me go, you who are used as playthings by those men. Get out of my house. This is my family matter. I don't need you to meddle in it. Wang Haifeng kept struggling, but soon he stopped because his body was still hurting and he was afraid of pain. So all I can do is curse. At this time, Sun Kaianqian came to her senses and slowly walked to Wang Haifeng. Snap! Sun Kaianqian gave Wang Haifeng a loud mouth. Wang Haifeng, UBD. What qualifications do you have to scold me? If you hadn't offended people before, and if you hadn't been arrogant and talking nonsense after the apocalypse, would Li Xialuo have troubled us? If you hadn't asked me to accompany him, what would you have done? I drugged his wine, and I will be RD by him later. You BD, you deserve it. Wang Haifeng was originally a crazy beast, but now he was slapped by Sun Kaianqian, and he was completely furious. Wang Haifeng roared angrily, Sun Kaianqian, UBCH, why did I marry such an unruly BCH like you? I want you to drug Li Xialuo, but have you drugged Li Xialuo? And as long as you women don't want to, how can a man easily get on the bus? After all, you're just a BCH, seeing that Li Xialuo is gaining power, so you want to follow him? Now you're pretending to be pure. It's a pity that Li Xialuo didn't get rid of you, a BCH. This is the fate of you BCH, Sun Kaianqian looked at Wang Haifeng and was so angry that she was speechless. Shut up, please let your wife accompany other men. When you say those words, you are no longer worthy of being a man. At this time, a woman with an oval face next to her didn't know when she was holding her hand. He took a torn rag and blocked Wang Haifeng's mouth. Woo, woo. Feeling the nausea in his mouth, Wang Haifeng struggled desperately, but with his hands cuffed and his body tied up, he had no way to resist. The oval-faced woman looked at Wang Haifeng with disdain. HMPH, please correct your current position. If your mouth is still so bad and you blame others for your shamelessness and cowardice, then you will always be gagged like this. Come on. Besides, don't even think about eating the food. Anyway, Mr. Li Xialuo told them when he left that they just need to take good care of Sun Kaianqian. As for Wang Haifeng, it's up to them whatever they feel like, as long as they try not to starve to death. If he wants to die, there is no need to stop him. In short, don't take him too seriously. As for the three women with melon-shaped face, they have been insulted and tortured by men for so long after the apocalypse. They all hate men like Wang Haifeng, so naturally they will not be merciful. Sun Kaianqian also came to her senses at this time, and then walked up to the three women. Hello, thank you just now. If it hadn't been for them just now, Sun Kaianqian would have been knocked to the ground by Wang Haifeng, and her life or death would have been uncertain. She was patronizing and angry with Wang Haifeng, but she hadn't thanked them yet. The oval-faced woman smiled and said, Madam, my name is Feng Xiaomai. You don't have to be polite to us. Mr. Li told us to take good care of you before he left. Then, Feng Xiaomai briefly discussed what Li Xialuo had told Sun Kaianqian. When Sun Kaianqian heard that it was Li Xialuo who confessed to her intentionally, she looked at Wang Haifeng who was looking at her angrily. Sun Kaianqian's face flashed with incomparable complexity. Chapter 247 Shen Yan's Coquettish Technique. Li Xialuo drove the speedboat from point 2 for another 10 minutes, and then he saw the hilltop and several villas of Longting Villa that had not yet been submerged. Li Xialuo did some calculations and drove a speedboat from the Wutuangyan community territory to Longting Villa. If there was no time wasted on the way, it would take about 20 minutes, which was much faster than before the apocalypse. When Li Xiaoluo's speedboat was about to approach Taoyuan territory, Li Xiaoluo saw that the female soldiers in Villain Number 10 had discovered his speedboat and were looking towards him. Li Xiaoluo took out his walkie-talkie and contacted the security team. Wang Shanshan, it's me on the speedboat. Li Xiaoluo informed Wang Shanshan, the captain of the female army team. After all, the female soldiers led by Taoyuan now have guns, and they treat outsiders as enemies. Li Xiaoluo was afraid that if he suddenly drove over in his speedboat, Wang Shanshan and the others would think that he was an invading enemy, which would lead to an unexpected incident. Although Li Xiaoluo has the power of teleportation, even if Wang Shanshan and the others really shoot, they can't hurt Li Xiaoluo. But if he is really shot by one of his men, even if it does not hurt Li Xiaoluo, it will still affect Li Xiaoluo's image. After all, it's not a shame. Lord, we know, we can see it's you with a telescope. Wang Shanshan's reply came quickly from the intercom. In fact, even if the Lord didn't say anything, and they didn't see the Lord's face clearly, they wouldn't just come up and shoot. The lady said, you still have to save your bullets if you encounter a passing survivor who wants to dock and enter their territory. Give a warning first. If warnings are useless, they will use force to drive them away. Li Xiaoluo drove his speedboat to the shore and found that the water on the shore was blood red, and there seemed to be a few more corpses hanging on the wooden pillars on the shore. Li Xiaoluo jumped ashore from the speedboat, looked at Wang Shanshan and a group of female soldiers who ran over to greet him, and asked, is there another survivor here? Wang Shanshan saluted Li Xiaoluo, and then replied, yes, Lord, there are 2 more waves of survivors who want to land in our territory. One of them was not large, and then they saw our bodies hanging on the shore. He hesitated and ran away. There was another wave of survivors who had a relatively large number of survivors. They still wanted to land after seeing the bodies hanging on the shore. We warned them. When the warning was ineffective, we waited for them to come ashore and shot them. A total of 5 men were killed and 6 women were captured. However, those people were more cautious. They still left some people on the raft and did not go ashore. When they saw that we had guns, they immediately fled on the raft. Since there is no boat, there is no pursuit. After listening to Wang Shanshan's introduction, Li Xiaoluo nodded and didn't pay much attention. Now in the vast water world, no one knows where a group of survivors will suddenly appear, so there is no need to make a fuss. Li Xiaoluo didn't pay much attention to the survivors escaping. Although it is possible to let the tiger return to the mountain, the prerequisite is that they are a tiger, and as long as Li Xiaoluo's territory is strong enough, he won't be afraid of anyone coming to take revenge. Brother Charlotte, brother-in-law, husband, Li Xiaoluo came back by speedboat this time, so there was naturally a lot of movement. Sisters Shen Miao and Qin Yumei who were working outside came running over. After saying hello to Li Xiaoluo, Shen Yan'an looked at Li Xiaoluo's speedboat docked on the shore with bright eyes. Brother-in-law, where did you get this speedboat? I have never been on a speedboat. Can you drive it and take me to the water for fun? Before the end of the world, Shen Yan'an's family conditions were not good, her health was not very good, and she had an older sister who disciplined her, so she had always been a good girl like a lady, and she did not dare to do many things. And now, with Li Xiaoluo as her brother-in-law, although Li Xiaoluo is not very good at coaxing girls, he is really good to their sisters. Except for Li Xiaoluo, they are the highest status people in Taoyuan territory, and they can do whatever they want, and after the apocalypse, there are not so many rules. Li Xiaoluo has the final say on all the rules in Taoyuan leader, so Shen Yan'an has completely liberated her nature, curious about everything and interested in everything. If it were before the end of the world, a girl like her would definitely be the best to cheat. What are you doing? Taking a speedboat is quite exciting, but it's not suitable for you. Li Xiaoluo didn't agree, mainly because he had just been driving for a while and had lost his excitement. Now he didn't want to drive anymore. This is just like someone who doesn't have a car. When Li gets a car, he will be very excited at first, but after driving it for a long time, it will become boring. Brother-in-law, just take me to have some fun, okay, just for a while. When Shen Yan'an saw that Li Xiaoluo did not agree, she immediately used her coquettish technique, stepped forward, hugged Li Xiaoluo's arm and shook it from side to side. Seeing Li Xiaoluo's expression of enjoyment but refusing to agree, Shen Yan'an immediately leaned into Li Xiaoluo's ear and whispered softly, brother-in-law, if I kiss you, can I take it as reward? Ahem. Li Xiaoluo coughed dryly, and then looked at Shen Yan'an with a serious face. Okay, okay, you are such a big man and you have never even been on a speedboat. It is really pitiful. I will take you, let's go hang out on the water. As for other things, we'll talk about it later. In order to maintain his own image, Xialuo decided not to let Shen Yannian continue to be a monster. Well, I'll go back to the villa later, so I can do it in private. Thank you, brother-in-law. Shen Yannian stuck out her tongue curtly towards Xialuo. Shen Miaomio looked at her sister helplessly. Now she was too lazy to take care of this wild girl, and she couldn't help it. Let's go, Miaomio, Yumei, you guys should go and have some fun together. Xialuo looked at Shen Miaomio and Qin Yumei and said, anyway, one duck is enough to catch, and the same is true for several more ducks. Shen Miaomio nodded, and then smiled slightly at Xialuo. Shen Miaomio is naturally beautiful, and her smile not only looks healing, but also makes her look even more charming. Xialuo was still shocked subconsciously. Okay, thank you, husband. Qin Yumei also smiled happily and spoke much bolder than Shen Miaomio. Soon, sisters Shen Miaomio and Qin Yumei got on the speedboat. Of course, there is also Zhao Xiaolu, a follower. Thanks to Shen Yannian, she is involved in every fun thing. Xialuo drove a speedboat and took several women for a walk on the water. The women all had a great time. Back on the shore, Shen Miaomio looked at Xialuo. Brother Xialuo, can you still get this kind of speedboat or other boats? Xialuo looked at Shen Miaomio, wondering what she meant. Chapter 248, Forming a Water Team. Not considered. See Xialuo's confused look, Shen Miaomio replied softly, Brother Xialuo, it's like this. There are foreign invaders coming to our territory every day. Sometimes, they will be like the group of invaders who came today. Those people will only send some people to land in our territory first to take a look. Condition: if they find that something is wrong, the people they left on the water will immediately escape. And our female soldiers do not have water transportation, so they can only watch them escape, and if they come again next time and do the same thing, or just harass us on the water without docking, we still have nothing to do with them. But as long as the female soldiers can have speedboats or other water vehicles, we won't be so passive. After listening to Shen Miaomio's words, Xialuo naturally understood what Shen Miaomio meant. She is indeed the woman I love most, the designated candidate for the eldest wife. Others take the speedboat for fun, but she is still thinking about the territory while playing. I really didn't hurt her in vain. However, Xialuo thought about it and shook his head to Shen Miaomio. Don't think about this matter for now. Just let the female soldiers guard the land. In fact, regarding what Shen Miaomio said, Xialuo had already thought about whether to give the speedboats and assault boats he bought before the end to the female soldiers. Then, let the female soldiers in the territory form a water team. In that case, if any survivors dare to come to Taoyuan to seek trouble, even if the people don't dock, it won't be that easy to leave, or in the future, female soldiers can take the initiative to deal with the enemy. But after thinking about it later, Xialuo gave up the idea. There are several reasons why Xialuo gave up. First, it is too troublesome. After all, forming a water team belonging to the Taoyuan territory requires more than just water transportation. We also need to spend time learning driving skills and water tactics for female soldiers, and usually, when those water vehicles such as speedboats dock at the shore, they may need to simply build a small pier, and once you have a small dock, you will still have to be on guard against survivors stealing or sabotaging it. In short, it will add a lot of troublesome little things. Second, it was because Xialuo knew that the flood would not last long. Maybe by the time he trains the water team, the flood will be over, so it's a bit unnecessary. Third, Xialuo knew that there would be large fleets coming later, and those fleets also had armed forces. If the female soldiers went out in small speedboats, they might encounter danger. Therefore, it is better to let the female soldiers guard the territory on the land with peace of mind, and then rely on the advantages of the land to drive away those foreign survivors who want to steal their homes. As for the combat effectiveness on the water, don't worry. Well, I know, Shen Miaomio was very obedient. She knew that Brother Xialuo knew more things than she did. Since Brother Xialuo said not to develop the naval army of Taoyuan territory, he naturally has his reason, and Shen Miaomio will not say anything more. So, good, Li. Xialuo pinched Shen Miaomio's fair and tender face intimately and smiled. Well, it feels really good, brother. Xialuo Shen Miao's face suddenly turned red with embarrassment, but the look in her eyes towards Li Xialuo was full of affection. Hey, little dear, cover your eyes quickly. Children can't watch this kind of scene, otherwise you won't be pure. When Shen Yannian saw Li Xiaoluo and her sister behaving immorally, she immediately covered the eyes of her good sister Zhao Xiaolu in an exaggerated manner. Shen Yannian, go to hell, why don't you cover your eyes? I'm a few days older than you, Zhao. Xiaolu opened Shen Yannian's little hand angrily, saying that she could no longer have this good sister. If you are envious, just be envious. Why do you know how to make fun of yourself? But Zhao Xiaolu is just complaining a little in his heart, so naturally he will not let go of Shen Yannian, a good sister. She and Shen Yannian were the best classmates and good sisters before the end of the world, and they will be no worse than biological sisters after the end of the world. Especially Zhao Xiaolu knew that if it weren't for Shen Yannian's relationship, how could she have lived a comfortable life and achieved her current status in Taoyuan? Shen Yannian, are you itchy again? Shen Miao also glared at Shen Yannian. How dare you make fun of her? It's all because of brother Xialuo. When Shen Yannian saw that her sister and good sisters were focusing their firepower on herself, she immediately ran behind Qin Yumei with a guilty conscience. Qin Yumei is much older than them all, and now they have a relationship like a biological sister. Even her sister Shen Miao has to give face. Li Xiaoluo didn't care about their women's affairs. After all the women got off the speedboat, Li Xiaoluo directly took the speedboat into the system space. After all, as mentioned before, docking the speedboat on the shore and sending female soldiers to defend it at all times will only increase the workload. Although the women who saw Li Charlotte's magic of turning the speedboat into oblivion were still very miraculous, they no longer made a fuss about it. After all, Li Xiaoluo had already demonstrated this superpower in front of them, and they were already mentally prepared. This is why women in Taoyuan color can live with peace of mind, no matter it is an ice disaster or the current flood, because the women in Taoyuan all know that their lord is very powerful. And as long as the lord is here, they have nothing to worry about. Of course, this refers to those women who joined Taoyuan during the ice disaster. As for the women who joined the Taoyuan territory after the flood, although they had heard some stories about the lord's people, they had never seen Li Xiaoluo display his superpowers with their own eyes. At night, inside Charlotte Li's master bedroom, "Master, I'm here to take off your clothes." Just as Li Xiaoluo walked into the bathroom, Qin Yumei, who was wearing a pink uniform, also walked in. This is a less formal nurse uniform. When Qin Yumei, the head nurse, puts it on, it is really a perfect role-play. No, it's character integration. Although Qin Yumei has been upgraded from a maid to lord's wife, Qin Yumei seems to be more enthusiastic about the maid's work and is particularly concerned about serving Li Xiaoluo. When she was a maid in the past, she would do some of the work that she didn't have to do, but now she would do it with all her heart. Seeing Qin Yumei's dress and the charming look in her eyes, Li Xiaoluo knew that he might have to take a long bath again. It's really a sin. He really wants to save water, but his strength doesn't allow it. More than an hour later, Li Xiaoluo and Qin Yumei returned to the bedroom. Then hugging Qin Yumei, a big soft cushion, both of them were tired and soon fell into deep sleep. Chapter 249. A fat person is a yids. The next day, Li Xiaoluo slept until he woke up naturally as usual, and then he felt the smooth body in his arms. It seems that Qin Yumei was really tired yesterday, and she didn't get up yet today. If it were normal, when Li Xiaoluo woke up, there would be no one around her. Li Xiaoluo's big hands hugged the soft body under the quilt, which was smooth and plump, and very voluptuous. Being slightly fat is yids, Li Xiaoluo likes it very much. Honey, stop making trouble, please let me go back to sleep. Feeling Li Xiaoluo's movements, Qin Yumei finally opened her eyes in a daze, then hugged Li Xiaoluo and said in a disgusting voice. Suddenly, Li Xiaoluo felt itchy in his heart. They say the best part of the day begins in the morning. Don't waste this great time in the morning. Li Xiaoluo shrank his head, and then his whole body entered the quilt. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Li Xiaoluo and the rosy-faced Qin Yumei got up and came to the living room. At this time, Shen Miao and the others had already had breakfast and went out to handle work. However, there are dedicated maids and cooks in Villain Number 1. Even if Li Xiaoluo and Qin Yumei get up late, they can always have breakfast. While eating breakfast, Qin Yumei wolfed down some of her food without any concern for her beauty image. Li Xiaoluo thought that she was hungry because she exercised too much last night and in the morning, so I kindly reminded her to eat slower. As a woman accepted by Li Xiaoluo, She will definitely be the happiest woman in this apocalypse, with no worries about food and clothing. However, Ken Yumei didn't appreciate it. She rolled her eyes at Li Xiaoluo angrily and said that Li Xiaoluo had delayed her work. Ken Yumei's brow-filled white eyes naturally had no lethal effect on Li Xiaoluo. However, Li Xiaoluo looked at Ken Yumei and said curiously, "Delaying your work? Your department should not be busy now, right, Ken?" Yumei was originally Li Xiaoluo's maid, and later became the personal doctor of Villa Number 1. Later, Ken Yumei became Li Xiaoluo's woman, and the number of people in the territory also increased. Li Xiaoluo established a medical department in the territory, with Ken Yumei in full charge. Then Ken Yumei found a female doctor and a nurse among the women in the territory, and established Taoyuan Hospital and Taoyuan Pharmacy. However, their Taoyuan Hospital claims to be a hospital, but in fact it is just selling dog meat over sheep's heads, because there is basically no medical equipment inside. Even if there is a doctor, it is of little use. He cannot perform any surgeries and can only prescribe medicines to treat some common illnesses. Taoyuan Pharmacy, on the other hand, is a veritable pharmacy. During the ice disaster, Li Xiaoluo not only collected medicines from several large pharmacies, he even collected a lot of special medicines from large hospitals. As long as there are diseases that can be treated with medicine, Taoyuan Ling basically has no shortage of them. In fact, as long as Li Xiaoluo is willing, Li Xiaoluo can also carry all the medical equipment from the pre-apocalyptic hospital back to Taoyuan. The reason why Li Xiaoluo didn't ask for those medical equipment was mainly because Ken Yumei, the nanny, would be here in the future. After she awakened her powers, she could just use a healing spell, so there was no need for surgery or other treatments. And the reason why Li Xiaoluo said that Ken Yumei is not busy now is precisely because of this. After all, there are only dozens of people in Taoyuan now. How many people can get sick every day? Moreover, Ken Yumei is now the director of the medical department. Her doctors and nurses are doing the prescribing and treating patients, so she doesn't have to do it herself. At the same time, even if the women in Taoyuan are sick, Taoyuan Hospital will not prescribe them unconditional medical treatment. You need to have contribution points. So now the daily work in Taoyuan Hospital is even easier. It is no exaggeration to say that they are the most relaxed department in the entire Taoyuan collar, because it's still the early days of the end of the world, and it's not yet time for medical staff like them to show off their talents. And now Ken Yumei actually says that he has delayed her work. Isn't this a blatant frame-up? Li Xiaoluo decided that if Ken Yumei didn't give him a good explanation, he was going to implement a family law. Thinking of Ken Yumei's perky buttocks, Li Xiaoluo couldn't help but smile. After seeing Li Xiaoluo asking him something, he suddenly showed a lewd smile. Ken Yumei immediately gave Li Xiaoluo another look. This bad man must be thinking of some bad ideas again. However, Ken Yumei answered truthfully to Li Xiaoluo's question, "I do have something to do today." Maya Omio said that now that the temperature has returned to normal, we should think more about the future, especially in terms of food. During the ice disaster, we all know that you got a lot of food back outside, and even if we finish eating, you can always go out and find food, but now it's a water world outside. The pre-apocalyptic grain stations, supermarkets, food factories, etc. have all been flooded. It won't be so easy for you to get food easily in the future. It just so happened that you brought back a lot of grain and vegetable and fruit seeds before, so we discussed it. The villas we live in have some large gardens that can be used to grow food, and there are also mountains behind the villas. Some arable land can be reclaimed for planting. If we can grow our own food, then food will be guaranteed in the future and our current food consumption can be reduced. Farming. Li Xiaoluo was stunned for a moment after hearing this. Why didn't you tell me? In fact, for Chinese people, farming is engraved in their genes. Even if many people lived in the city, they would start their own farming business on their balconies, rooftops, or even using bottles and cans. In fact, no matter what kind of apocalypse it is, farming is the top priority for survivors. Even if Li Xiaoluo has system space, he will definitely start farming in the future. It's just that Li Xiaoluo is not in a hurry now, because there will be people with superpowers in the future. Take sister-in-law Shen Yanyan for example. She is a plant-type superpower. From now on, with her here, relying on the weather to make ends meet, breeding and fertilizing will no longer be the focus. Farming will become very simple in the future. It is much simpler than mechanical farming in developed countries in the past. That's why Li Xiaoluo didn't even think about farming now after the ice disaster, but Li Xiaoluo didn't expect that. He didn't want to do it. But Shen Miaomio and the others were already doing it. Qin Yumi said with some embarrassment. Actually, we know nothing about farming, so we didn't tell you first. We wanted to test it ourselves first, and then we will tell you if we have some results. Chapter 250 The Dissatisfied Newcomer. Since Qin Yumi is really in trouble, then Li Xiaoluo will naturally exempt her from any family punishment. Li Xiaoluo said that he is actually a very reasonable person. After breakfast, Li Xiaoluo had nothing to do, so he followed Qin Yumi to see their farming business. Although Li Xiaoluo has never thought about relying on ordinary manpower to farm the land to support the people in Taoyuan territory, the women in the territory don't have much to do anyway, so it would be good to let them have something to do, and when the time comes, being able to eat food grown by one's own hands will give people a sense of accomplishment. At this time, in the mountains behind Longting Villa, Shen Miaomio was leading a group of women from the logistics department to reclaim wasteland with farm tools. Now is the post-apocalypse, but no one from this department or that department has any control over their destruction of the environment. No matter whether they are cutting down trees or digging the ground, no one has any control over Shen Miaomio and the others. However, reclaiming cultivated land, especially wasteland, is really hard work. Especially these women who lived in the city before the apocalypse, may have never farmed the land, let alone opened up wasteland. You can imagine the hard work. Shen Miaomio brought many women over from the logistics department, as well as people like Shen Yanayan, Zhao Xiaolu, and Xiao Panpan. There are a lot of people, but the progress of the work is very slow. Everyone hasn't been working for a while, and everyone is already tired and sweating profusely. Sister, I can't do it anymore. The ground here is too hard. This digging work is simply not done by humans. I surrender. Shen Yanan threw away the farm tools in her hands and sat down on the ground without any image. When they first heard about farming, they were very interested, and then they became very motivated, but today is just the first day. First, Sister Yume was absent in the morning, becoming a deserter for some reason. Then Shen Yanan found that reclaiming wasteland was too tiring, and a beautiful girl like her couldn't stand it. I told you that you haven't recovered yet, so I won't let you come over to join in the fun, but you just didn't listen. Now you know you've worked hard, right? You should quickly go to a shady place to rest. Don't get too tired. Shen Miaomio still cares about her sister. Although she is becoming more and more disobedient, who cares about her sister? It's okay, sister, I'll just sit on the ground and rest. I promise to complete the task today. Then Shen Yanayan waved to Zhao Xiaolu. Xiaolu, come here and have a rest. The way you work is not as good as me. Xiaolu, you should rest too. Seeing Zhao Xiaolu looking at her, Shen Miaomio also said. Shen Miaomio has always treated Zhao Xiaolu as her younger sister. When Zhao Xiaolu heard Shen Miaomio speak, he was immediately relieved. Then he walked to Shen Yanayan and sat down on the ground imagelessly. It's so tiring. From now on, I can no longer believe Shen Yanayan's lies. Originally, Zhao Xiaolu had nothing to do with reclaiming wasteland this time. After all, she is a maid in the Lord's house, dedicated to serving the Lord and his wife. There is no need for such a thing. However, Shen Yanayan, the little sister who cheated on her, told her that there was something very interesting happening today. She has always trusted Shen Yanayan. Zhao Xiaolu didn't even ask what he was doing, so he joined directly, but Shen Yanayan is weak, so she is not much better. Moreover, they are still young and were still studying before the end of the world. How could they have ever done such back-breaking work? But it seems a bit late to regret it now. After working for a while, Shen Miaomio saw that all the women looked tired, and looked at Shen Yanayan and the others with eyes full of envy. Shen Miaomio actually dug for a while by herself just now. She knew that even for an adult woman, this job is really tiring. Okay, everyone, let's take a rest and drink some water. Shen Miaomio has never been a cold-blooded and mean woman, but sometimes, she forces herself to be serious. Therefore, Shen Miaomio has always been friendly to the women in the territory, and will try his best to consider the women below, because in her opinion, Brother Xialuo is actually very harsh on women, so since Brother Xialuo sings a bad face, she will try her best to sing a white face so that everyone will not be too stressed. Of course, the premise is that everyone must abide by the rules of the territory, and she is friendly to the people below, without delaying the affairs of the territory. For example, this time, if it is the task assigned by Li Xiaoluo and how much farmland needs to be reclaimed every day, then Shen Miaomio will take them to complete it even if he knows that everyone is tired. But this time it was her and sister Yume's own idea, and they also wanted to experiment first and then gain experience in farming, so this time, Shen Miaomio doesn't need to cultivate too much farmland. And he doesn't have any clear goals. Naturally, there is no need to make the women under him too tired. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Mom. Many women were relieved when they heard they could rest. In fact, this job is much harder than when they worked in the logistics department. Even if they are all adults, they will not be able to adapt to it all at once. After all, many women really had never done such a job before the end of the world. Even after some women sat down to rest, their faces were full of reluctance, and their hearts were full of complaints against Shin Miaomio. Of course, the women who think this way are actually the ones who recently joined the Taoyuan collar after the flood. Those women who joined Taoyuan during the ice disaster, no matter how tired they were, would not have any complaints against Shin Miaomio, because those women who joined Taoyuan Lingjiu are now very friendly to Li Xialuo, and Shin Miaomio represents Li Xialuo, so naturally they will not have any complaints against Shin Miaomio. It's just that they get a little tired from time to time. No matter how tired they are, will they still be tortured as much as before? As for the newcomers, why are they dissatisfied? First of all, they have just arrived, and their awareness and friendliness towards Taoyuan collar are not high. Secondly, Taoyuan collar has the rules of Taoyuan collar. The longer people join Taoyuan collar, the higher their contribution will be, their work will be easier, and their treatment will be better. Although it looks a bit like bullying newcomers, it has been like this since ancient times. Regardless of whether it is ancient times or modern times, those who are the first to conquer the world will definitely receive preferential treatment. Li Xiaoluo's Taoyuan collar is naturally no exception. Therefore, if the newcomers who come later do a poor job, their treatment will naturally be relatively poor. In this way, some women know that it is okay to be grateful. After all, it was Taoyuan leader who saved them and Taoyuan leader who took them in. However, there are also some women who don't know how to be grateful, and instead feel more and more unbalanced in their hearts. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.